says it will give a crucial insight into the lives of those children.
The health and well-being of children with same-sex attracted parents has not been studied at all in Australia, and this is the largest study of its kind anywhere in the world. We're hoping to recruit up to 500 families representing 750 children. And in fact, we're looking to find participants.
No worries.
The United States says China has agreed to fast-track travel documents to allow blind activist Chen Guangcheng and his family to leave the country. Chen escaped house detention last weekend and has been at the American Embassy in Beijing in asylum since. US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton says it's a heartening development that China will allow him to leave peacefully.
I'm pleased that today our ambassador has spoken with him again. Our embassy staff and our doctor had a chance to meet with him, and he confirms that he and his family now want to go to the United States so he can pursue his studies.
Updating sport, Aussie golfer John Sendon is equal third at the halfway mark of the PGA event in North Carolina. Nick Watney leads at 12 under. Sendon is 10 under. Tiger Woods has missed the cut, 13 shots off the pace.
This entire week I didn't play the par 5s well. Today I made 4 pars. And you just can't do that, especially when all of them are reachable with irons.
Geelong should have no trouble dealing with Melbourne this afternoon at Cardinia Park. Coach Chris Scott is expecting a different match to round 19 last year when the Cats thumped the Demons by 186 points.
Completely different situation. We thought that they were very competitive on the weekend, playing pretty honest footy, playing pretty one-on-one footy, and we know we're going to get a contest.
In other games this afternoon, Essendon plays Brisbane at Etihad Stadium while the Suns take on Freo on the Gold Coast. News time, 1:05.
Hi, John Bourbon from Boot.
Let's have a look at that weather forecast, and the weather forecast, partly cloudy. Isolated showers mainly over the eastern suburbs, wind southwesterly 15 to 20 kilometres. Temperature outside our studios here in Croydon at Wairina is 14 degrees. The chance of any rain today, 40%. And for tomorrow, Sunday, a shower or two clearing, 17 degrees. Monday, a little rain developing, 18. Tuesday, becoming sunny, 22. Wednesday, mostly dry, 21 degrees. Thursday, sunny, 21. And Friday, partly cloudy, 21 degrees. This is Radio Eastern, time just after 5 minutes past 1.
Now it's time to go local for your footy. This is EFL Saturday. Let's jump straight into the warm-up.
Well, get your Viking costumes out because Norwood is the talk of the town in Division 1. They are 2-0 after 2 rounds, but they take on the might of the Balwyn Tigers today. We are out at Balwyn SEN Park for the big clash between 1 versus 5. Norwood taking on Balwyn. Can Norwood keep up their reputation? We'll find out after 2 o'clock today right here on EFL Game Day. But between 1 and 2, it's time to preview everything that's going to happen around the Eastern Football League today. Of course, in the first half hour, we will preview the big Balwyn versus Norwood clash. I'm Ben Waterworth, and joining me in the pre-match today, he normally comes on after 2 o'clock, but we thought we'd just sort of give a bit of a sneak peek of what's to come after 2 o'clock. Good afternoon to the broadcast manager of the Eastern Football League, Ben Warren Smith.
Good afternoon, Ben Waterworth, and all our Radio Eastern listeners. Sure to be a great day out here. I jinxed it a bit on the Wednesday night when I said Mother Nature has been oh so kind. She's also proved today that she's a cow, so we look forward to today's game anyway.
Speaking of cows, the man who does milk cows for a living, Peter Baird.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ben. And Ben, I feel privileged today sitting beside the A-team of the EFL here.
At least we got a bit more room this week, not like a fortnight ago.
You're an idiot, Darren McKenzie.
Of course, we'll bring you the coverage of Balwyn versus Norwood after 2 p.m. right here on EFL Game Day. But gentlemen, it's time to welcome our first guest already on EFL Game Day. We know it's a very stressful time for a coach around this time of game, or pre-game, I should say. And he's in his first year of coaching the Balwyn Football Club. Of course, took over from EFL TV's own Daniel Harford, but he's doing just as good as a job as what Daniel Harford's doing. Better, we think. Daniel Donati from the Balwyn Football Club. Good afternoon to you, Daniel.
G'day, boys. Yeah, thanks very much. Good to be here.
Pleasure to have you up in the box here, Daniel. You're a couple of weeks in, into the season, a couple of months working with the guys. Slotted in nicely?
Yeah, look, it's been brilliant so far. The boys they're a great bunch of boys. They're they respond to everything. They're very enthusiastic. They're a young group with a bit of mixture of experience as well. And yeah, look, a couple of weeks in, we were disappointed with our first quarter in round one. Other than that, we've been pretty good. So yeah, I'm really pleased with where we're at the moment.
Is that the thing that's sort of blown you away to start off with when you walked into the club, the professionalism of the club and the professionalism of the players?
Yeah, look, I wouldn't say it's blown me away. I reckon it's an expectation at this level, having played at it for years myself. You just expect it. If you want to be a good side, you want to play finals, you've got to be professional, you've got to train hard, you've got to expect a lot from your teammates. And so I wasn't surprised. I was actually happy with it, because a lot of clubs I don't think are like that, whereas these certainly boys are.
Now, Daniel, your first game coaching the Balwyn Footy Club, you came up against your old side. A bit of a baptism of fire. What was it like taking on the Bulls in round one, where you're major name in the EFL? Yeah,
look, it was difficult, to be honest. The whole week, look, to be honest, might have even got a little bit better of me. I quite emotional before the game. I'm so excited to be part of the Balwyn Football Club now, and I really wanted the boys to know that. And I know a lot of the Noble boys quite intimately still in the club and all that sort of stuff, and old faces were around, and our boys were so keen to put on a good performance. In that first quarter, whilst we weren't bad for the first 5 minutes, they just took their opportunities and they kicked 4 opportunist goals, and all of a sudden they were 4 goals to zip. And from there, they got 8 goals to 1 in front, and it was difficult. So, look, it was a great experience, to be honest. It was a baptism of fire, no doubt. But at the end of the day, you've got to play them. We play them out here in another 4 or 5 weeks' time. Hopefully we can get a bit of payback.
Yeah, always tough playing catch-up footy against Noble Park. Something I want to ask you about, though, a couple of different roles we've seen some of your key players in this year. Stevie Kenner's one I'm particularly interested in. Probably we've seen him last year go through the midfield more. You're using him more across half-back in a defensive role, providing those setups from half-back. What's the thinking there?
Look, to be honest, Stevie's played half forward, he's played wing, he's played on the ball, he's played half back flank in the first 2 games, so he's been everywhere. Last week we had one of our boys go down the back flank, and Steve was just the obvious replacement for him, so he ended up playing the game on the back flank. You just got to expect to see Steve play half back, on the ball, half forward. I think he's going to be using all those positions. He's so versatile, you can do that with him. It just depends on the matchup on the day. If it's working for us up back, great. If not, let's get him in the middle, get him in the game. If not, let's get him forward because he can sneak some goals. But it's pretty handy to have a bloke like that. You can play anywhere.
And a new player joining your club this year, someone that's created a bit of a buzz, particularly around opposition coaches. And we had Kevin Tiboldi, the coach you're coming up against today, ask us about him on EFL Sunday last week, and that's Goebbels at half forward. Tell us a bit about him and the sort of player he is.
Oh, look, Jeff's a ripper. He's one of those guys who he's got an enormous work rate. So for a forward or a half forward or a forward pocket or full forward, wherever he plays, his work rate is enormous. He hits up all day at it, and his contests second and third are really good. So he takes a good grab for his height. He's not 6'5" or anything. He's probably only 6'3". Real competitor. Yeah, look, I can drop a bomb now. He's not playing today, so
a late omission from the side.
Late omission. It's on the team sheet anyway, so it's no big deal. But unfortunately, we miss him today. He's unavailable due to personal reasons, not injured or anything like that. Just something I knew about weeks ago. Unfortunately, it's hit us today. So he'll be out today. So that's one less headache for Norwood to follow about.
Dan, a new coach at the club normally brings about leadership group changes. Tell us a bit about who's in the leadership group this year and how much it's changed from years gone by.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of difference. We've got a new skipper this year, Rennie Gilchrist is the skipper.
Taken over from Norm.
Yeah, Nick Smith. Nick's commitment with work and all those things around football has taken on a greater role for him now, being 28 and all that sort of stuff. So his commitment's a bit harder to be here as much as he'd like anyway. So we made the decision to change the leadership, and Rennie's an outstanding boy. He's 23. He's just full of leadership credentials. He talks brilliant. The guys listen to him. He's respected. He's hard. He does all the things at training you want of a leader. And he's a real good 2IC for me too. I've loved working with him so far. So he's been one. We've got 3 vice captains. We've got Charlie Hendry, Luke Barker and Rod Crow as vice captains.
Okay.
So 3 of those guys, they're all rippers. They're all just leaders in their own right. And the reason why I wanted 3 was because there's just so many of them. The more voice you can get at training and on game day, the better for mine. I've always been really big around that stuff. And we also included Brad Neal into our leadership group this year as well, and unfortunately Brad did his knee last week, and his season's done.
It's over.
He'll be playing a role with me as an assistant coach this year, working with the back line, which is great, and an opportunity for him now that way as well.
It's no secret last year that the club struggled to win home games. They only won 2 of 9. You started off well last week with a good win over Vermont, so you're 1 from 1. How important is it this year to get the win for the home fans, and which inevitably gets more people in the gates and more money over the bar and all those type of things as well?
Obviously, that's enormous, but at the end of the day, if you want to finish in the top 3, you can't win 2 home games. It's as simple as that, and this is our ground. We train on it the way we play on it. The guys got tremendous pride in it. We've got 10 or 11 new players playing this year than what there was last year, so we've started from scratch. I expect us to be very difficult to beat at home this year because this is our patch. It's a different ground to any other ground in the competition. There's no reason we should be winning 2 out of 9. So it's not accepted, and the boys, you'll see it today. That's their intent. We don't want to lose a game at home this year, and hopefully today it's no different.
We look forward to it. The conditions this afternoon, it's been pretty good football over the first couple of weeks, and then we get here today and it's a bit drizzly. A few boys upset in the change rooms that it's going to be wet this afternoon?
No, not at all. At the end of the day, both teams play in the wet. We don't have a huge side. As far as height is concerned, and these conditions with some of the on-balls, like, your Shooter McMahon and your Ben Harris and those hard in and under tight, Rennie Gilchrist, it suits us. So I would expect us to play as well in the wet as in the dry. And I've always said, good teams win in the wet. Simple as that.
Yep.
It shouldn't be any closer. The good teams should stand out, and if these boys fancy themselves as a top 3 side, we should put in a good show today.
Well, looking at the teams that were submitted yesterday, this is a very good Balwyn team, and we look forward to seeing them this afternoon. Daniel, thank you very much for joining us up here on the balcony. We know it's a very stressful time for a coach, so much appreciated and good luck for today.
No problems at all, guys. Cheers. Good luck with the call.
Balwyn coach Daniel Donati joining us here on EFL Game Day. He's a very, very, very impressive speaker, BWS, and looks like the Balwyn Football Club's in very good hands with him at the helm.
Absolutely, and the reserves. What's the reserve score here? I know we don't get a scoreboard. What's going to happen with this for the afternoon?
This is the issue. Well, if Dyson Baker's listening to us right now on 98.1 Radio Eastern, and we know he's filling in for Grant Campbell and Will Taylor on the Choose Tap match stats today, he is going to have to be on the ball like never before. Dyson, lift your game, because we don't have a scoreboard in front of us.
Lift your game? He hasn't even done it before.
I know, so lift his game. So I'm telling him to lift his game before he's sort of entered into the game and started. So Dice, if you can keep scores today, we'll probably just be throwing to you at very random times.
And if you're at home, bring a spare jacket for us, because it's only 11 degrees out there, and I did not come prepared.
It is freezing and it's drizzling. The rain sort of stopped for a little bit at the moment, but it's good. It's going okay at the moment. The ground is looking quite good at the moment. Just a word on Balwyn, Peter. You heard Daniel Donati speak then. You heard about Stevie Kenner off half-back. You asked him that question. He has had to fill that role last week. And Brad Neal going down. So that's a couple of big losses. Where do you see Balwyn sort of, not only today, but for the rest of the season?
I think they're definitely a top 4 or 5 side. I know they've got aspirations of being a top 3 side. I'm not so sure about that yet. They may prove me wrong. They've got class across every line. Today's a bit of a concern that if Goebbels isn't playing, he was one of the big problems for Kevin Tiboldi. We had Kevin Tiboldi ask us about him specifically when we interviewed him on EFL Sunday, on Akira EFL Sunday last week. He was concerned about their height up forward. Him out of that side today, it probably alleviates one of those headaches for him. The role of Stevie Kenner across half-back with Brad Neal going down as well, it sort of takes away from their midfield.
Yeah.
They're still a very good football team, make no doubt about that. I think they're definitely a top 4 or 5 side. We'll have to wait and see come the business end of the year whether they can deliver on that and maybe step up to even top 1, 2 or 3.
Oh, interesting to see that. Thank you for Dyson Baker. He says, expecting a lifted game, gents, will be all over it. So good to see that our Choose Tap statistician today will be all over it. And if you want to send us a message here on EFL Game Day, you can. 0410 495 582. That's 0410 495 582. It is on page 2 of the Eastern Footballer today. $2.50 at the gate. Very fine publication. $2.50. That's the number there. If you have any scores from around the Eastern Football League or just want to give us a little bit of banter, do text us in on that number. And of course, thanks to everyone who's tuning in at the moment on our live streaming, www.afl.org.au. We've got a few more guests just around the corner. We're going to have our first break here on EFL Game Day on the pre-match, but we've got a lot of guests around the corner, including a couple from Norwood and hopefully another one from Balwyn. But we'll be right back here at a very wet SEN Park, right here on EFL Game Day.
Thanks, fellas, and you're listening to Radio Eastern 98.1. What do you do when you're having a medical emergency? Public emergency departments do a great job, but they're always busy, and they often have long waiting times. Private hospitals charge $280 and more for additional services. But at Akira Urgent Care, there's no waiting, and you'll only pay a maximum of $150 out of pocket, which includes other diagnostic services you may need. So which option should you choose? Akira Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Baronia, or call them on this number, 9839 3333 9839 3333. Akira Urgent Care, your health, your destiny. This is Radio Eastern 98.1.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Gully Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Gully, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Gully Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
20% makes a lot of difference. Imagine your team kicking 20% less goals and being 20% behind on the scoreboard. Actually, let's not. Now, imagine using a Breeze Tag account on Eastlink and getting a 20% discount on all weekend car trips. No need to imagine. It's for real. Open your account online at eastlink.com.au and get 20% off car trips all weekend, every weekend on Eastlink. Now, let's give my mate Ross 20% more stick for being 4 goals behind. Hey, Roscoe! Eastlink, it's time better spent, like at the footy.
Program sponsor. Kids eat free Mondays and Tuesdays for a limited time at Hog's Breath Cafe. Get out! When an adult dines at Hog's Breath Cafe, you also get a kids meal free. Select from any one of our special kids meal combos with a soft drink and ice cream. That's Hospitality. Mondays and Tuesdays for a limited time. So get in for our great kids meal deal. Kids eat free at Hog's Breath Cafe. Love you to join us. Call 1-800-HOGSTAR.
Chadstone, Dandenong, Coringal, Knox Ozone, Water Gardens and Geelong. Come in and experience some Hospitality.
Program sponsor.
The warm-up continues right here on EFL Saturday.
It is a very wet SEN Park out here at Cherry Road, on the corner of Cherry Road and, of course, White Horse Road, the beautiful council of Burundara. But it's a wet day, but it's going to be a cracking game between Balwyn and Norwood. Of course, Norwood, the talk of the town in Division 1 at the moment. They are 2-0, but a very fine Balwyn side they'll be going up against, and a very fine president of the Balwyn Football Club as well. Most people would know him for his work for the Melbourne Victory, but here at the Eastern Football League, we know him as one of the masterminds here at the Balwyn Football Club. It's a very good afternoon to Richard Wilson.
Welcome, Ben. How are you?
We're doing okay. How are you feeling pre-game today? It's a big day for the club. You're coming up against a side that's got lots of people talking. How are you personally feeling?
No, looking forward to it. It's, unfortunately, the weather's a bit damp, but no, it's been okay stuff for us. We obviously lost against Noble, and they kicked 8 goals in the first quarter, and that pretty much finished off the game. But we had a good last 3 quarters there, and last week we had a terrific day against Vermont, so played really good footy, so we're pretty confident. Norwood are obviously 2-0, so they've started off well, but it's early days, and it's a long season, but we're at home, and we're pretty confident.
Talking about last week's game, a fantastic effort to win by 60 points, but we're talking off air just before about Brad Neal and a tragedy of an injury. As we had Dan Donati just on before, and he said that he won't be playing any more football this season, which is a huge loss for him. And to talk to us about Brad Neal and the kind of the influence that he's had on the club, and hopefully what he can have in a coaching role later on during the season.
Well, look, he's a talent from Box Hill, and a great guy, physiotherapist, running his own business, and just really enjoyed his footy. When I saw him when we got our doctor at Victory to have a look at him and look at the prints, mate, he said, the first time for a long time he was really enjoying his footy. Yeah. Loved being around it, and it was a security and a future for him, both with his career as well as a local club where he knew what he was about and what his opportunity was. And they're pretty innocuous sometimes, and it was midway through first quarter and it happened, and unfortunately he's done a pretty good job on it. So with the AFL boys can take 12 months to get back. If you don't do a last treatment, then it's 12 months. So for suburban footballers who don't have the ability to do the rehab, it could be another 18 months. Yeah. So he may struggle to get back even for a fair bit of next year. Wow. So it's his first major serious injury. It happens in footy. We've had Patrick Bowden here. We've had quite a few breakages on SEN Park over the years. So it's just unfortunate. It's part of footy, but it's never good to see it.
Now, Richard, I want to ask you more about some of the off-field stuff going on here at the Balwyn Footy Club, and a topic that's always creates some talking on the EFL forum, and that's the under-19s or the Colts down here at the Balwyn Footy Club.
I think he's expecting.
How hard is the Balwyn Footy Club actually working at the moment to try and get this underage footy up and about here at SEN Park?
Yeah, look, it's something that we have, despite perhaps what people think on the forums and otherwise. But no, we've worked. Look, this club, ever since it's really been here, has really never had an under-18 team. You know, the best they've ever got is under-17s in the junior competitions, even in the 60s. It's simply because of the demographic, and we've worked pretty hard. We put a Burundara Hawks program in place 3 years ago, I think now. There was a combination of 3 junior clubs that formed the Burundara Hawks, under-15s, under-17s, to actually give a pathway into the under-18s. And as a lot of people know, we have 2 teams. We had 2 teams in both those years at under-17 level, so you would have thought out of 50 kids you'd pull an under-18 team. Out of all those 50 kids, 6 went to high schools, all the rest went to private schools. And the way it works, they've got to play Saturday sport, they play football, which means it makes it very difficult in our demographic. So we've got a strategic plan this year that we'll hopefully implement next year. It'll be a wider search. It'll be a more fuller academic program as well as football, an elite development program. It'll be about education. It'll be about lifestyle. And it'll pull kids both hopefully from TRC clubs, broader districts, to actually bring into an environment which will be unique for them, and that's a strategy that we think we were pretty close this year. We had about 20 kids, and then we lost 5 or 6 back to Old Carey and the under-19s, their mates, and that just finished it off this year. But we do work hard. It's been a very difficult area, but it's an important part of. We are only one club in Canterbury in Burundara that isn't linked to a private score or an amateur competition, so it gives you a bit of an idea of the challenges that confront us.
The work never ends off-field, Richard, and tell us about the off-season for the Balwyn Football Club, because a lot's changed. A bit of an era's ended and a new one's begun, a new coach, a new leadership group and a new season beckons. So, God, you guys must have been busy.
Well, Daniel Donati was busy. You know, I'm used to running searches for coaches, and we ran one once half, decided he'd had enough. So, it was a good search, and Daniel's terrific, presented really well, and he's brought a new enthusiasm, a new culture, a new direction. So he's been terrific, and the guys around him and the players, the leadership group, they've really come together. We've recruited really well. There's a new vibrancy and it's a new culture, and that's what happens when you bring a new coach in and you give him the ability to go and take it to the club where he wants to take it and so forth. So just terrific off-field, really, and our form last week really indicated what our recruiting's been like, and that'll be three-quarter time, and I know who's winning. 2 wet can't see the scoreboard here, but it's the second, we've got a really good bunch of seconds players. We've got a good number there. So from a club perspective, and the influence Daniel's had already, it's been really positive and really encouraging. So.
Now, throughout the year, the club always has a few functions on home game days, and I know you've got a Ladies' Day coming up and also a gala. Did you want to tell us a bit of the functions coming up at the club?
Well, we had a big past players' day against Vermont. We had I reckon we ended up having about 2,000 people here. We had a lunch with 120, 50 odd past players last week. It was a terrific day against Vermont, and the result was terrific. We have a ladies' lunch with Blackburn in a couple of weeks. We do that alternatively with Blackburn, and it's terrific. And
I hear Lauren Wood might be making an appearance.
Yeah, Lauren is going to be a guest speaker, so we look forward to
guest speaker.
Just to see what Lauren's been up to since she's departed from the great EFL, and she'll add a bit of colour.
Yes.
To the event, and and obviously it's a significant day between our two clubs, given last year with the final. So we'll be giving that a fair bit of respect as well. And we have our gala day. It's our big, one of our big fundraisers for the year in a couple of weeks' time, and so we're looking forward to raise some money and have a good club day.
Well, it's all happening here at SEN Park, Richard. We do appreciate you coming up to the balcony to chat to us now. Good luck today and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you, boys. Happy calling. Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers, indeed. Richard Wilson, president of the Balwyn Football Club. Much appreciated him coming up to the SEN Park balcony at this time. Pete, can you just look over towards your left shoulder there and just see if you can see the reserve score at three-quarter time? I know it's been reasonably close throughout the day, but the big man's just getting up. Any scores there for us, Pete?
1 sec, mate.
Oh, 1 sec. Let's have a bit of a look at Norwood. I think BWS. Two from two. 2 wins from 2 games to start off the year. Sorry, just before, Pete.
Yeah, Balwyn 4-1-25, Norwood 3-8-32.
Reasonably low scoring, as you would expect from
3-8-26.
3-8-26. Thanks, Pete. Reasonably low scoring, as you would expect on a day like this. Let's talk about Norwood BWS. 2 from 2 to start off the year. Couldn't have asked for a much better start. I think why everyone's talking about them is their victory over Noble Park last weekend. about I think it was two or three goals off the top of my head. A fantastic effort by them. Do we find out at the end of today though if they're the real deal?
Oh, you've got to give them a couple of weeks to get to before you can say anything about any side. I think any side realistically can beat another good side on their day, and that may be a once-off last week, but today they may run away with it. You just don't know, and we look forward to it. Until he gets to like 8 games in the season, I don't like making big calls on how people's seasons are going, but I'm really looking forward to the contest today because Balwyn had a tough task taking on Vermont last week for what people were saying and the recruits that they've had, and to run away with it by 10 goals, Norwood's got a massive task to come here today, especially in these conditions. When you don't know the ground and you're playing in the rain, it always goes to the home side's advantage.
Frosty, we had a bit of a chat in the Friday preview about the new look Friday preview on about Norwood, and you said
absolute media gold it is as well. The Friday preview.
Your words, not mine. You said that you're not convinced about Norwood. You're not happening on the bandwagon. It's the siren's about to go. Oh yeah, loving the heads up from the timekeepers as well. Frosty, are you going to be if Norwood win today? Are you on the bandwagon?
I think so. I wasn't getting carried away with their win against Noble Park. The thing I liked about that win, though, was they were actually headed by Noble Park in that final quarter. Noble Park got their noses back in front, but Norwood were able to steady and hold on. Now, we've seen in the past when Noble Park comes hard at sides, they overrun them. They come right over the top and steamroll sides into submission. Norwood didn't do that last week. They were resilient enough to stand up and be counted in that final term. That's the thing I really liked and was really impressed about their win last week. To win again today, to follow up Noble Park and then Balwyn in 2 successive weeks, that's huge. When they got their draw at the start of the year, they must have been shaking their heads thinking, maybe if we can pinch one of our first 3 games, we're doing well. They're a chance today to go 3-0 from those first 3, which is absolute dream start for the Norwood Footy Club. It only gets easier from there. The 3 games they've had, round 1 they had... I'm trying to think who they... Blackburn in round 1.
Yes.
Preliminary finalists. Round 2, they had Noble Park, the Premier. And this week, they've got Balwyn, who made finals as well, through to a semi-final last year. So that's a huge start to the year for them. If they can win today, I'm going to get on the bandwagon and answer your question.
There you are. He's going to hop on the bandwagon today. You heard it first here on EFL Game Day.
Sorry, Ben. I think some key players today for Norwood, for them to get up, would be Stuart Hill, Big Stewie Hill.
Yes.
Jonathan Wynn, Paul Maskant and Jakey Ford. If those 5 players, Peter Baird, can get on top of their games and create some ball, well, they'll go a long way to winning this one.
You're a huge Jake Ford fan, aren't you?
I am. Jakey Ford came into the huddle a couple of weeks ago. We had a bit of a chat to him. Since then, though, he's had some of the biggest jobs in the Eastern Football League. He plays as that shutdown midfielder.
Will he get Gilchrist today?
I think he might get Stevie Kenner across half-back. I've just got a touching feeling about that. He's the guy that's been a touch of a feeling.
Yes.
He's the guy that's been fantastic for Balwyn last week in setting up those thrusts from defence. I think he might go to him. They're both very short men. There's not a lot of them. So it might be, as I said, the battle of the midgets out there if they get on each other. But Jakey Ford, he's been fantastic. He's been that midfielder that Kevin Tiboldi's looked to shut down opposition sides. Thanks to the timekeepers once again.
The final quarter of the reserves game is about to get underway here at Balwyn Park. But what we're going to do now is take our next break here on the EFL preview. Of course, you're right here on EFL Game Day. After the break, we're going to go through all the games, besides this one here at SEN Park, from around the Eastern Football League and take you on an in-depth analysis of all the games from around the Eastern Football League. So we'll be back after this break right here on EFL Game Day.
Radio Eastern 98.1. Sudden fever, aching body, sore throat, chills, nausea, headache, dizziness. Sounds like you need medical assistance and urgently. It's difficult getting an immediate appointment with your GP when you need care fast. So come to Ikira Urgent Care, where you don't need an appointment and you don't have to wait. They are Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Baronia, or call them on this number, 9839 3333, 9839 3333. Ikira Urgent Care, your health, your destiny.
As always, get tagged. In Melbourne, the best and cheapest way to get around the tollways is to get your car tagged. That's because a Breeze account works on EastLink and it works on CityLink too. A tag's also the cheapest way to use EastLink and CityLink. So open your Breeze account online at eastlink.com.au and start winning as a tagger today. Speaking of winning, my team's a sure thing for 4 points today and maybe the premiership. Come on up, that was in the back. Eastlink, it's time better spent, like at the footy.
Program sponsor.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Gully Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Gully, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Gully Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
In desperate need of some windows but your budget's too tight? Never fear, because the team at T&B Window Warehouse has the right solution for you. We have surplus windows to suit the need of any budget. We're located at 120 to 124 Bayfield Road East, Bayswater North. Give us a call, 8727 7506. That's 8727 7506. T&B Window Warehouse. Don't forget the name, part of the EAL and AW Transport Group. Number 1 in window transport. Program sponsor.
20% makes a lot of difference. Imagine your team kicking 20% less goals and being 20% behind on the scoreboard. Actually, let's not. Now, imagine using a Breeze tag account on Eastlink and getting a 20% discount on all weekend car trips. No need to imagine, it's for real. Open your account online at eastlink.com.au and get 20% off car trips all weekend, every weekend on Eastlink. Now, let's give my mate Ross 20% more stick for being 4 goals behind. Hey, Roscoe! Eastlink, it's time better spent, like at the footy.
Program sponsor.
On EFL Saturday, it's time for the match of the round. Let's cross to our team and go local for your footy.
Oh yes, and of course the match of the round today is of course the Balwyn versus Noble Park game out here at SEN Park. It's going to be an absolute beauty and we're looking forward to it. But gentlemen, it's time to divert our attention from this game here at Balwyn Park and look at all the other games from around the Eastern Football League. Give very in-depth analysis and give expert tips. Make sure you change your tips on the Vibromania tipping competition after hearing some of this material that's coming your way. We're going to start down in Division 4. Of course, 3 teams with the bye today. Canterbury, Ferntree Gully Eagles and Kilsyth all with the bye. But maybe a big day here for the Surrey Park Football Club today, Pete. You've got a bit of a hunch. You said to me during the week that you probably weren't convinced that Park Orchards, Surrey Park would get over Park Orchards today, but you think that Surrey Park can really take out at the Park Orchards. Do you still think that a few days on?
I do. I think that the real advantage for the Surrey Park side today, as against any other week in the Sports Division, is their midfield. They've recruited very well, but the guys they've recruited are young,
yes,
and they get bullied off the ball a little bit around through their midfield. Today, coming up against another very, very young side, I don't think they'll get that same physical pressure through the midfield as what they would against a side like South Belgrave, who absolutely walloped them last week. For that reason, I think Surrey Park will get enough ball forward to be very, very competitive in this game today.
But
I was talking to Steve Harrington on yesterday down at EFL House, the president of Park Orchards.
He rocked up, that's right, yeah.
He's very determined not to be the club that Surrey Park break their losing drought to.
Ooh.
He said, we don't want to create a bit of EFL history and then be the club that's remembered as the club that...
Yes.
No disrespect to the Panthers out there, but I don't know. I've just got a feeling today that today might be the day for the Surrey Park. If it is, I'm going to call in there on the way home because Andrew Turp, a very good friend of mine, I'd love to have a celebratory drink with him after the game.
If you do, we'll get you up on EFL post game if you do, and we'll possibly try and get an interview. That'd be really good. But you still think Park Orchards?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to pick Park Orchards. I'm going to pick a margin by less than 2 goals in this game.
VWS?
Oh, it's gonna be close as well. Especially the weather's brought it back a little bit more even. But Park Orchards, let's not forget, had the bye last week. So when the legs are a little bit heavier at the end of the day, I'd probably expect them to run away with it. Neither side have a leading goal kicker per se for the year. Probably the maximum will be 4 or 5. So it does show that there's no key focal point. So whoever's on top in the midfield, you can sense is going to win this game. I think it's going to be Park Orchards. They've started really well, and I'm going to tip them today by about 5 goals.
That's a fantastic point you mentioned about Park Orchards. The thing that Tupi has said to me about Surrey Park is they're getting enough ball up forward, but they just struggle to kick the winning score at the moment, capitalise on the scoreboard. So today, with the ground a little bit heavy out there, the ball on ground level more, they might need that big marking forward, which I think will even be more reason why Surrey Park might be even more of a chance today.
Next game, Forest Hill taking on Sylvan. A big travel out to Forest Hill Reserve today for the Sylvan Football Club. I think I saw on the teams that Ash Froud isn't playing today, Frosty. I didn't see his name come up on the beautiful Friday preview yesterday. So that's a big loss for Sylvan. And after seeing that, I was going to tip Forest Hill originally, but after seeing that, I'm very convinced that Forest Hill are going to win this one.
Yeah, I tend to agree there. Forest Hill, they've been thereabouts in that middle of the road for the last few years. They've started the year off very, very well this year. I think they can step up against Sylvan today. Mark Cullen's going to have a huge game through the midfield. With the ball on the ground, as I said, due to these heavier conditions, he loves that, going through that midfield. I think he'll provide that drive through the middle for Sylvan. But Forest Hill, I don't know. They're a side that I'm not too sure about, but I think they'll get up today.
Yeah, I like Forest Hill this afternoon. I don't think there's no need to go into any more of it. They've started well, 2 wins for the season. They'll look for their third. They play Park Orchards next week, and who knows, after round 5, they could be looking pretty good.
That'd be a fantastic radio game next week, BWS.
Oh, no, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, we're thinking about it big time. Maybe a big game that I'm certainly looking forward to seeing the result of today is the Basin and the Eastern Lions. A little bit of a rivalry between these two teams. We've kind of gathered during the week a bit of banter across all kinds of media platforms. I think the Basin today, I just think their experienced players are on top of their game at the moment. I think they'll be able to continue that momentum, Pete.
Yeah, some of those experienced players, guys like Toddy Power, Matty Smith, up forward, they've been fantastic for them. Toddy Power named at centre-half back today. Interesting.
Yeah, I did see that.
So,
will he play there, though?
Mickey Glassborough said he can play at either end last week when we spoke to him on here at EFL Sunday.
Good show.
So he may line up at centre-half back. They've just got options up there. They've got Coltrera up there as well, Daniel Denbraber through the midfield. They've got young guys, Kruger and that through the middle. I think they'll be too good and they should win today.
And you talk about the usual suspects for the Basin, but it's also other players like Duke and O'Sullivan and Stack and Finn that are getting in the best as well. So they've got a wealth of talent coming through that side.
Final game in Division 4, Nunawading taking on South Belgrave. It does look like Nunawading has improved a little bit on last year, but South Belgrave, they are determined, I think, to go all the way in Division 4. You've told me this a lot over the pre-season, Pete, that South Belgrave are primed to go that next step, and I think they'll do this one pretty easily against the Lions today.
I think the only downside against South Belgrave today is no team this year when they've been in Frosty's furnace has been hot in the EFL have won that week. Oh. So South Belgrave are there this week. So they have to overcome that hoodoo. I think they will. They'll be too good. They will win today and they should win comfortably.
Well, that is Division 4 done and dusted. Moving on to Division 3. We'll quickly have a look at one or two games before we get our next guest in. Pete, Whitehorse Pioneers taking on Coldstream. Unfortunately, it's going to be a difficult year for the Whitehorse Pioneers, and Coldstream look like they're on the up. Coldstream for mine.
They are on the up. The thing I like about Coldstream at the moment, Matty Price has got this group playing as a cohesive unit. They've bonded together. They're playing for a guy they really respect and a guy who's really highly respected in the EFL. I think Coldstream, they're going to be too good for Whitehorse today, and they should win by, who knows, 5 to 10 goals.
And maybe a result that we think will probably go the way of the away team today is the Yarra Cup. Warrandyte taking on Templestowe. I think Templestowe will get this one, even though their form has been pretty shaky to start off 2012.
Well, both these two teams are probably the two disappointments so far of 2012 in Division 3. Templestowe, I was all over them pre-season. I'm really impressed with their lineup on paper. They just haven't been able to gel on the field yet. Megames is starting to hit a bit of form, named back in their best last week. He should be too good. Warrandyte, the jury's still out on Warrandyte. For me, Templestowe today.
Glen Waverley Hawks quickly and Ringwood. Glen Waverley Hawks, this one's at Capital Reserve. Tough game, I think. I think the Glen Waverley Hawks, though, they got a bit of form last weekend with a tight win over Templestowe.
Really hard to get a read on Ringwood this week. They were up after the departure of Nick Tennant last week. They stole a win in a game that no one really predicted that they'd have a chance in. The Glen Waverley Hawks, though, they've been a bit of a revelation, a bit like Heathmont in Division 3.
Yes.
The new side, the new kids on the block stepped up. They're 2-1 after 3 games. Mick Gall's got the team settled in the final second half of games. They were overrun in the first two games in the last quarter. Last week they held on. Today, I think they should be too strong. I think Ringwood will suffer that second week blues a little bit after with a new coach. They might not have that same motivation that they had last week to go out and prove a point. Glen Waverley Hawks for mine.
Well, let's put Division 3 to one side for the moment, Peter, because we've got a very special guest up here on the balcony. His club is flying at the moment. Well, they're 2 rounds in. You can't get much better than 2 and zip. And the president, Mark Etherington's joined us up here on the balcony. Good afternoon, Mark.
Good afternoon, guys. How are we?
We're doing okay. More importantly, how are you doing? If I said to you before the season, before the start of the season, that you were going to knock over Norwood Park by under a goal last weekend, would you have laughed in my face?
No, not at all. I would have turned around and said we've done the hard work in the off-season and prepared ourselves for this season in being in a competitive environment. And if we can put 4 quarters together, then results like that will come.
You probably would have offered him a wager, then taken his money, Mark.
Absolutely.
It's probably the smartest way to go about it, but not just in the seniors as well. Your reserves is in the top 5. Your under-19s are in the top 5. So it's not just in the seniors, but the whole club has got off to a really positive start in 2012.
Yeah, it has, and it's no secret the strength of our juniors, and we've got a number of players that have come through and developed through those junior ranks. And
I think it's 16 clubs, which I think is the second most in the Eastern Football League.
That's correct. Yeah, that is correct. And obviously the change this year with the 17s and the 19s has meant that there's some stability with those Colts with another year under the same coach and playing together. Unfortunately, they had a loss today against Blackburn. It obviously had them round 1 and then backed it up again, obviously with the way the draw works this year. They've played again today over there and unfortunately didn't get up. Some inaccurate kicking, but there's some really good signs coming through from some of those young guys now that will push up for reserves and seniors in seasons to come.
Now, Mark, when we speak to Kevin Tiboldi, he's a very reserved character. He doesn't give us too much or doesn't get carried away by too much hype.
Very quiet.
We asked him last week how far can Norwood go after you guys knocked off Noble Park. He didn't really answer the question for us. In true Kevin Tiboldi style, he danced around the issue and deflected the question. I'm going to ask you, after the start of the year, we've had only 2 rounds in, and I do appreciate that. How far can this Norwood Football Club go this year?
Oh, well, obviously we've turned up today at Balwyn to play football, and hopefully we can turn around and have a competitive game again today.
You've been taking lessons off Kevin.
Kevin's a school teacher. Must have been going into Kevin's classes.
Now, the other thing, Mark, I'm going to ask you, on a more serious somber note, I'm going to ask you a little bit about Lee Williams.
Yes.
A player from the Norwood Football Club. Obviously a tragedy, the news we've had of his illness that he's been struck down with.
Yes.
Drafted onto the rookie list at the Melbourne Footy Club. I was wondering if you can fill our listeners in a little bit what's happening with Lee.
Well, look, obviously... unfortunately, yes, there was that viral meningitis that obviously struck him. It was interesting. It was only last Saturday that he was actually at the ground and obviously come on very, very quickly. We haven't got a latest update as of today, but obviously everyone's making sure they get around him and keep in contact and obviously support him. Unfortunately, he had a pretty interrupted pre-season with Melbourne anyway. Had a lower back injury, which rendered him missing a few games, which ultimately they thought that he'd obviously get a couple of games in the NAB Cup. Obviously that lower back injury, and then obviously started to get his fitness back and played through Casey. Played in the development squad a couple of weeks ago and kicked a few goals, and then obviously got struck down last Saturday. So we're obviously our thoughts are with him, and we're hoping that he gets a speedy recovery.
As are the thoughts of all people in the Eastern Football League. Much respected man and a great player in this competition last year.
Oh, look, yeah, 88 odd goals last year, and was a definite focal point for the football club.
Mark, talk to us about the off-season the club's had. Probably expectations weren't met in season 2011 after a good 2010. A new year. Tell us about some of the new players you've got at the club, and is there a bit of a breath of fresh air about the place?
Oh, look, there is. And 2010 was a strong year after a very slow start. It's a direct... change in that position, obviously with the start we've had so far, but 2010 was a strong year. We obviously had a draw there that obviously assisted as well, and there's no secret there with the seeded draw in Division 1. We saw Knox last year, whilst they picked up a couple of scalps, had a very strong year. We've got a different draw again this year, but I think through the off-season, I'd have to say pre-Christmas, our pre-season was substandard. The attendance wasn't there, and we thought, are we going to have one of those years where we're just thereabouts? Pretty much straight after the Christmas break, new lease of life in there with a new fitness coach in Joel Caldwell. Obviously a few new heads in there in regards to match committee, and then the recruits that we targeted and picked up. Obviously Chris Nye is a Norwood player anyway, that obviously gave Box Hill away and is obviously with us now full time. We picked up Holmes, who's ex Box Hill and went to Ainslie. We saw the deficiencies within the club, predominantly within the midfield. We knew that we were going to lose Lee at that stage because it was quite clear that AFL scouts were watching most of the games. But the midfielders that we've picked up aren't big names, obviously apart from probably Holmes and Nye. And the likes of Paul Muscant, obviously a coveted amateur player that was playing at Aquinas. He's obviously stood right up. Matt McCormack, centre-half forward, obviously from Baronia, has adapted to First Division very, very well. And then obviously the strength of a couple of the country boys we've picked up, who are giving us depth through the reserves as well. We've seen that enable us to create further rotations and free up the likes of a Shane Clayton and an Evan Johnson and so on, who can rotate through and come off and give us a bit of drive off half back as well. So it's meant a totally different structure. We're a fitter side. I'd have to say that our ability and depth with that midfield is a big difference to the club.
You're playing an away game today, and let's talk about Mullen Reserve for a second, and tell us a little bit about what the condition of the ground's like, how the club's faring at the moment, just to invite people down who might not have been down there before in this season when their side plays out there. Why would they want to come down to Mullen Reserve?
Oh, look, it's obviously a very competitive environment, and we pride ourselves on being a family club. That being said, our facilities are substandard. There's no secret about that. We've been working for many, many years trying to get our facilities improved. But that being said, it's a competitive game of football there every time we play at home, and it's a really good environment. So we encourage as many people as possible to get down. Next week is our Past Players Day, Past Players and Officials. So we're looking forward to another big day next week, and we'll get through today first and foremost.
The Past Players Day, no doubt, will be a fun afternoon and probably well into the night. How many club functions do the club set aside for the season?
Look, we used to have something just about every first and second week. We want to get to a stage now where they're focused functions, where we're not putting too much onus on the members. There's about 6 or 7 during the course of the year, and next week is obviously a daytime function. The following week we've got the players taking on a bit of a role this year with looking after some of the functions as well, so hopefully improve the attendance.
Well, Mark, it's been a fantastic start to the year for the Norwood Football Club across all divisions and off the field as well. Rug up today. It's going to be cold, but I think it's going to be just as good a game. Good luck for today. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Good on you. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Mark Etherington, the president of the Norwood Football Club, joining us right here on the SEN Park balcony. Pete, let's go back and BWS. Let's look back in Division 3. We've just done the Glen Waverley Hawks and Ringwood. Wanturna South taking on Chirnside Park.
I didn't give my tip for Glen Waverley Hawks, Mitchum.
Who do you think is going to win that?
Glen Waverley Hawks.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement. I think just on that, but it should be a ripping game. Wanturna South taking on Chirnside Park. Wani South for mine back at Walker Reserve there, Pete.
Yeah, kick-started their season last week with their first win. It was really what Matty Clark needed for this playing group to get their season going. They fancy themselves in Division 3, having come down from Division 2 this year. Yes. Fantastic midfield with a lot of young guys coming through. The Wanturna South Juniors are a really strong club. Their Colts have traditionally been strong. Guys like Ryan Baker have stepped up in the last few years and come into that side. So they're a good football club. I think they'll win today against a side that were very disappointing against Ringwood last week in Chirnside Park.
Yeah, they were disappointing, but geez, they played well in that first week of the season, and no doubt a disappointing fortnight for them. They may be able to come back and put on a decent show this afternoon. I know Davo won't be happy with the boys' performance over that last couple of weeks, but I just like the story of them going back home and getting another win up on the board, Wanturna South, because I think big things are for them this year.
Always tough beating Wanturna South out there when they kick to that club room in the last quarter. Yes. With the crowd cheering them on in the front of those rooms. They come home with an absolutely wet sail.
A very intimidating experience for any visiting club. The 2 final games in Division 3, gentlemen, I've left till last because these are absolute crackers. North Ringwood taking on Mitcham. Big opportunity for the Mitcham Football Club today. Had a solid start to 2012. But if they can knock off North Ringwood at Quamby, they could really announce themselves Jason Derulo style. I just still think he's back. He makes a slight appearance, but I still think that North Ringwood, though, will probably just have the class, especially around the midfield. But having said that, the likes of Quilty, Searle, those kind of guys, Peter, I know you love them. Just hunch is North Ringwood, though.
Yeah, Quilty, he's really the barometer of that Mitcham footy club. The 2 weeks where he's been named in their best, Mitcham have got up and won. The week when he wasn't, no points for Mitcham footy club. So a lot rest on the shoulders of their captain today. North Ringwood, we know how good they've been over the last few years. They've strengthened up some of their bodies going through their midfield this year. A guy that we've seen out here playing at Balwyn over the last few years, Maxi Melzer, has gone into their midfield really nicely and slotted in very well down there at the North Ringwood Footy Club. I think they'll be too strong for Mitcham, but don't be surprised if there's an upset in this game and the Tigers get up.
Yeah, they're near on impossible to beat at home, North Ringwood, and they've proven that over the last couple of years. Tymerson and Faulkner have been kicking goals for Mitcham. They're definitely a key for them this afternoon. afternoon.
And Andy Buchanara, he's been fantastic. Named in their best every week so far.
Trojan workhorse style, I think, as well.
Absolutely. And North Ringwood, well, they seem to be going a different angle to goal this year. I haven't been out there, obviously, to see them play yet, but I've just got a feeling that they're spreading it around and they're not just going one-dimensional through Daniel Walls. So watch this space. I think North Ringwood at Quamby will be too strong.
Ben Warren Smith getting his crystal ball out, just predicting how the North Ringwood Football Club are going about their business, and he's probably
well, they've got no leading goal kicker within the top 12, so I'm piecing that to do with it.
Yeah, and I think the jigsaw puzzle might have come together nicely. Speaking of jigsaw puzzles, the Heathmont jigsaw puzzle is coming together nicely in Division 3. 3-0 after 3 rounds. They take on a Baronia side who have been there and in the top echelon of teams over the past couple of years. Can Heathmont finally get a victory over a team that's probably around their level, I suppose? They're not flat track bullies, but can they do it, Pete?
Can you hear that sound yet, boys?
What is it?
That's the thud when Heathmont come back to earth today against Baronia. Unfortunately, I don't think they'll be good enough for the Hawks. The Hawks will be too strong. They've been a top 4 side in the last few years in Division 3. I think they'll send Mitcham crashing back to earth.
Or Heathmont?
Heathmont crashing back to earth this week.
Are they going to crash back to earth, BWS?
I can't see how it's going to happen unless you can stop a man who's kicked another 8 goals last week and currently sits on 21 goals after 3 rounds. He's definitely the key this afternoon. Their midfield has been in fine form, Heathmont, and that is what's getting them to win the games and getting that delivery inside the forward arc. And I don't think that you could tip against them on the current form that they have. You just got a soft spot for anything that's a Hawk, I know.
Sometimes when you're around Darren Sheen, you think you're walking through the Queensland forest because he has massive legs that are tree trunks. We've got a couple of minutes to go through.
He's not a jet, he's a B-52 bomber.
Oh, Division 1 and 2, we've got a few minutes to go through these, gentlemen, so let's try and make this as quick as possible. In Division 2 today, Doncaster East taking on Bayswater. Bayswater for mine, even though Doncaster East got their first win last weekend.
Yeah, Bayswater be too strong. They're a good side. They've played finals. Doncaster East not on the same stage of development. I'm tipping Bayswater in this one.
Oh, okay, interesting. Doncaster East to my upset this afternoon. I think now that I was iffy all week, and I did tip Bayswater in the record, but now that the rain's come, I'm a big fan for Doncaster East today.
Get around Lee Murphy and the team down there.
They're small. They're a small side, and it's going to play to their advantage today.
Mick Parthenides back in the side.
No,
this week,
he's not back in the side. You're saying that he is?
No,
he's definitely not. He's out for another couple of weeks.
Donvale taking on Mooroolbark and probably the game of the round in Division 2. Big day for Donvale, and I don't think they'll get the chocolates over Mooroolbark.
I tipped Donvale as my upset this week.
You did too.
I think Donvale are a big show. I've been all over Mooroolbark. You've labelled them the sexy team of Division 2.
Yes.
I don't know, I've just got a feeling about Donvale today. The Fighting Magpies, they might take it right up to the Mustangs today. I think the weather conditions will suit them today. With a little bit of rain around, it might take the shine off the big kid up forward. Might not be able to go out with those big Dukes.
Big Russian.
I don't know. Wait and see. I just think Donvale were a big show today.
It was another one of these games that now the weather may have completely swung me. I'm going to stick with Mooroolbark. They've got class right across the field. They've virtually been playing an unchanged team for the last couple of weeks. Great to see Scotty Demetrio come back in, and he'll be running through the middle, pumped for a big day today. I've got to stick with Mooroolbark. They're in too good a form, and the only reason why you're tipping Donvale, Peter Baird, is because we say that you're all over Mooroolbark and you're trying to even it out.
Mulgrave taking on Montrose. That's probably a fair call. Mulgrave taking on Montrose. I don't think Mulgrave will get the chocolates today. Montrose, they'll be desperate to get some revenge after last week's loss.
Yeah, after going down to Roval last week, they'll be determined today to get back on the winners list. Unfortunately, they'll be too good for Mulgrave. Montrose for mine.
Yeah, I totally agree. They were probably the side that should have won the game last week at different points, and which proves that they really are up to the task. And Mulgrave, who started the season in okay form, they just can't get over the line. I think it's going to happen to them again today.
Roval taking on Doncaster. Roval had a great win last weekend, as we just said, but Doncaster have been impressive in Division 2. However, I think Roval are the team to beat in Division 2 at the start of the season, and I think they'll prove that again. Pete.
I've convinced you on it, have I?
Was I never on the Roval bandwagon?
You didn't tip Roval in boundary banter as your premiership tip at the start of the year?
Didn't I? So is that
I did.
Okay.
Anyway, I think Roval will be too strong, too fast, too quick, too classy, too strong today for Doncaster. They've got the runs on the board. They're a great football side. They have fantastic forward setup they've got at the moment. The 3 talls, the 2 smalls down there. They're going to kick too big a score for Doncaster to stay in the game. Out at Seabeck Oval, they're primed for a big game out there today. The Hawks in a canter.
Yeah, I wouldn't know about a canter, but I definitely picked them by about 5 goals today, the Hawks.
Speaking of boundary banter, page 3, the Eastern Footballer, best read in the Eastern Footballer. Of course, final game in Division 2, Upper Ferntree Gully taking on the Waverley Blues. At home, Upper Ferntree Gully, way too strong.
Yeah, tend to agree with you there. The thing that Upper Ferntree Gully lack, I believe, is a little bit of self-belief. They might have got that.
Or arrogance.
Arrogance, self-belief, bit of a swagger.
Yes.
The teams that really take up and contend for a premiership have that all-conquering view that they can win in any situation. We haven't seen that from Upper Gully in the last year and a half. Last week, though, we might have seen it. 3 goals in late in time on to steal the game from Mulgrave. They may have discovered a bit of that. They'll win today.
Yeah, they had 31 scoring shots, though, last week to 22, so they probably should have been in front before those last couple of minutes up at Ferntree Gully. They have to be too strong today, you would think, but the Waverley Blues have also been in a couple of games in the first few rounds, so who knows what side shows up today.
2 minutes to go through all of the Division 1 games, of course, besides Balwyn and Norwood. South Croydon taking on Lilydale. I think Lilydale might do this one. They're in good form.
Yeah, this is another game was a real toss of the coin. Yesterday on the Friday preview, I went South Croydon. I'm going to change my mind now. I'm going to actually go with Lilydale. They've had a fantastic spread of goal kickers. They've got guys like Davies, McComb, Breeze, all kicking goals up there, and don't forget O'Keefe up there as well.
Yes.
They've
and
just
the
got
Hills.
avenues to goal. I think they'll win today. I don't know if the South Croydon defence can hold all those four. For that reason, I'm changing my pick. I'm going to go Lilydale.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I'll pick Lilydale anyway, so let's keep the ball rolling.
Blackburn taking on Croydon. Blackburn are pretty close to getting a victory last weekend. Couldn't quite get there. I think their first 4 points of the season will come today.
Yeah, tend to agree. As I said, the Blackburn's problem so far, they've had an inability to kick winning scores, only 102 points combined in their first 2 games. They come up against the team today that's given away more points than any other team in First Division in the first 2 weeks. For that reason, Blackburn will get on the winnings list.
A side that went pretty deep last season, Blackburn, they'd be just horrified with the way that they've started this year. Kicked a terrible scores in all games, and look for them to at Moreton Park re-emerge this afternoon.
Local rivals, Knox taking on Scoresby. This is going to be a big game. I think Scoresby, however, they haven't been too convincing in the 2 rounds.
What a game.
It'll be a ripper game. We're almost going to go out there, but we decided to come here. Scoresby for mine though, Pete.
I think it's one's a changing of the guard. We've seen Scoresby, the last 2 grand finals in Division 1, Knox, the team to rise and challenge them. I think that changing of the guard is going to happen today. Knox will get up and knock off Scoresby. They've got that added dimension to their game this year where they can kick goals in a hurry. We saw 7 goals kicked by them in the second quarter last week. For that reason, Johnny Knight's got me convinced Knox are the side to come up and challenge for the flag.
Yeah, their game plan might suit this afternoon, but Scoresby have proved over the last few years that they do not lose in the wet, and based on that, I'm picking Scoresby today.
110th meeting between East Burwood and Vermont today. Think Vermont have got the personnel to bounce back after last weekend's loss. Vermont for mine.
Yeah, Vermont, they've recruited very well. They'll be hurt from their loss last week going down by 10 goals.
Yes.
We don't see a Vermont side beaten by 10 goals too often. They'll bounce back today.
I'm not so convinced. I like East Burwood this afternoon. He played in a couple of tight contests and probably should be 2-0. Vermont going down by 10 goals here last week. They play 2 weeks on the road. I don't know if all the talk of getting belted has maybe put a dampener on them this week. I like East Burwood, and they'll be absolutely pumped for this match.
Final game, Noble Park taking on East Ringwood. Noble Park to win big time after a disappointing loss last weekend.
As simple as this, Noble Park don't lose 2 games in a row. They'll come out and they'll be playing with an attitude today. They'll beat East Ringwood.
Yeah, East Ringwood have been pretty stiff as well. Bernie Deneen got a whole page today in the Eastern Footballer, Ben Waterworth.
Yes.
Noble Park, they will bounce back. They don't lose 2 in a row, do they? Beautiful
colour insert on the Eastern Footballer. That's all we have time for on the pre-game here on the warm-up. Thanks to Ben Warren-Smith for filling in on the EFL warm-up. It's been fantastic to have the man himself. He's going to step into the host chair and call this game along with Bradley Henderson after the break right here on EFL Game Day.
Sudden fever, aching body, sore throat, chills, nausea, headache, dizziness. It sounds like you need medical assistance and urgently. It's difficult getting an immediate appointment with your GP when you need care fast. So come to Ikira Urgent Care, where you don't need an appointment and you don't have to wait. They are Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Baronia, or call them on this number, 9839 3333. 9839 3333. Ikira Urgent Care, your health, your destiny.
In desperate need of some windows but your budget's too tight? Never fear, because the team at T&B Window Warehouse has the right solution for you. We have surplus windows to suit the needs of any budget. We're located at 120 to 124 Bayfield Road East, Bayswater North. Give us a call, 8727 7506. That's 8727 7506. T&B Window Warehouse. Don't forget the name, part of the EAL and AW Transport Group. Number 1 in window transport. Program sponsor.
If you love your EFL footy like I do and you love getting down to see your team play, you don't want to be spending your weekend stuck in the car driving. That's why I opened a Breeze account. Eastlink is the quickest, easiest way to get around Melbourne's east, and Tags are the cheapest way to use Eastlink. So open your Breeze account online at eastlink.com.au today and use Eastlink in the cheapest possible way with a Tag account. Instead of being stuck behind the wheel, I can have more time getting stuck into the umpire. Ball! Eastlink, it's time better spent, like at the footy.
Program sponsor.
At Hogsbread Cafe, we're serving Aussie style, great food and a feel-good attitude. Now we're going the whole hog with pasta, more seafood, chicken, rib dishes and fresh salads. And always our famous 18-hour slow-cooked prime rib steak. Come in for lunch or dinner and experience the value that is Hogsbread Cafe.
Chadstone, Dandenong, Coringal, Knox Ozone and Water Gardens. Come in and experience some hospitality.
Our hospitality is all about you. We do great steak.
Program sponsor.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Gully Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Gully, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Gully Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
EFL Saturday, it's time for the match of the round. Let's cross to our team and go local for your footy.
Welcome out to Cherry Road in Balwyn for the big Division 1 clash, round 3 clash between Balwyn and Norwood. My name is Ben Warren Smith, bringing you the broadcast this afternoon. We've got a great cast ensemble, some couple of new members from the media team joining us on the boundary line as well. We put the newbies out in the wet this afternoon. It's always the way it has to happen. A man who's joining me for the second time this year, second Division 1 game as well. It's great to have him as my wingman for this afternoon is Brad Henderson. Good afternoon to you, Brad.
Yeah, very good afternoon to you, Ben. Looking forward to it. Conditions not as I expected. It was quite a nice morning this morning, but it hasn't turned out that way for this afternoon, which is a bit of a shame. But the SEN Park surf is still in terrific condition, so I think we'll still have a great game of footy, provided they can keep it out of that mid-section of the ground, which is just a little bit choppy.
Great to have you on board this afternoon, mate. Let's move it along to the man who does milk cows for a living. We heard him in pre-match, we heard him on the huddle, and we've heard him on the Friday preview. It's great to have him in the special comments chair this afternoon. The farm noises in the background working beautifully. Good afternoon to you, Pete, once again.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ben. So I'm really looking forward to this game today to see if Norwood are up to the challenge. Last week they took it up to Noble Park, got away with a win. Can they defeat Balwyn and back it up to make 3-0? Really looking forward to this game.
We're going to get everyone's tips soon, but let's introduce the man who steps into the Choose Tap Match Stats position for the first time this afternoon. Let's see how he does some of his sharp work. It's a very good afternoon to a man who's been with the team every week, Dyson Baker.
Look, I do what I can. Thank you very much, Ben Warren Smith. And yeah, just a reasonably ugly day this week, but Will Taylor stepped it up with the laptop last week. I've gone one better. I've gone with the iPad. We'll see how that goes. See how that works for me for the next 4 quarters, but we'll see how we go.
Whatever happened to the pencil and piece of paper? I don't know. It's just completely disappeared. Let's cross down boundary side to our Akira Urgent Care boundary riders this afternoon. We've got Braden Ingram and Corey Hall joining us. Let's say good day to Braden first. How you going, mate?
Hey, boys. How you doing?
Fantastic. Talk to us about the conditions down at ground level. I believe you came out here and had a look at the Balwyn versus Vermont game last week. Does it look much the same, and how do you see it panning out today?
Yeah, stark contrast to last week. It was a lovely day out here between Vermont and Balwyn, and we saw Balwyn absolutely tear Vermont to shreds. I'm certainly looking forward to this afternoon. I think Balwyn and Norwood are going to match up very well, and I think despite the weather, we're going to see a really tough contest. And I think today, although Norwood have won their first two, I think Balwyn are going to go 2-1 for the season and upset Norwood today.
Well, welcome on board, mate, and let's hope that the rain stays away for you. Let's throw over to Corey Hall, who'll be looking after the Norwood side this afternoon. We've heard him do a couple of around-the-ground reports over the first couple of weeks, and today he joins us on the boundary. Good afternoon to you, Corey.
Good afternoon, Ben.
And now you look after Norwood. Just wait for that siren to go away. You look after Norwood today, Corey, a side who beat the reigning premier Noble Park last week, or the reigning premier for the last couple of seasons. How do you think Norwood will go today? Obviously, you're tipping them.
Yes, I am. Norwood, I think, will come out on top today just because they looked so good last week against the reigning premiers. And they've got another tough game next week against Knox, which should be another very interesting game. It'll be close today.
Thank you very much to Corey and Braden. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care down on the boundary line. They'll be enjoying these challenges, Brad, the Norwood Football Club, week after week. And if they can definitely get over the line in more than half of them, it's going to do them good come the end of the year.
I heard you speaking about that, Ben, on my way to the ground, and it was a point well made. Their first 3 weeks on paper looked like a nightmare start as far as the fixture was concerned, but they've met every challenge so far, and they've got the season off to the best possible start. Big challenge though coming out here today, although we do have to discount home ground advantage because we just don't know if there is going to be a home ground advantage this year for Balwyn. We know there wasn't last year. From what Daniel Donati said before the game, he's very determined to change that. Yeah, to change that fact this year, and that won't be the case as far as Balwyn are concerned this season. But it's time will tell. We won't know till we see if Balwyn can start to string together some wins at home, something they're unable to do last year.
Both these sides, when you look back over the last couple of years, 2-3 years, they've been thereabouts and been ready to challenge. How do you see these two sides as year panning out for them? Like Norwood, they were disappointing last year, but they did have a lot of injuries. They seem to have got some good talent back on board, and they're playing some decent football. Whereas Balwyn, it's a new area for them. How do you think that they'll adjust to that?
Norwood were disappointing last year because the season before they were so good the year before, and they were good in the finals as well. They had a pretty strong finals campaign, won a final and were competitive in that final series 2 years ago. And it was hard to put a finger on why they fell away. There was some injuries, but it was overall a disappointing season from the Norsemen. And I think they'll be a lot better this year. I think they'll strike back this year after a bit of a down season last year. As far as Balwyn are concerned, you sort of know what you get with Balwyn. They're always thereabouts. They're a proud footy club. They've always had a bit of a swagger about them, even when they haven't had maybe the playing list hasn't been as strong as it might have been, when the club first started in the EFL. And
there's not many players playing from that premiership team a few years ago left in this side.
No, a lot of turnover. A lot of players have changed, but they've got a couple of guys still in the side who were in the SEN Team of the Year last year, and a lot of guys who have played. VFL have played under 18s, TAC Cup, things like that. So there's still a lot of class in the Balwyn team, and they'll be thereabouts again this year.
And Rennie Gilchrist taking the helm of captain this year. He's a great player and should lead the club from the front.
Yeah, it used to drive me nuts how every week when I was looking at Melbourne's best players in the Sandringham team, which was our alignment at the time, and every week you'd have Gilchrist as one of them, and I think, well, that does Melbourne no good. He's not on our list. We need Melbourne players playing well for the VFL alignment team, but no, he's been a great player for Sandringham and of course for Balwyn the last couple of seasons.
Your tip this afternoon, Brad, are you gonna get on the home side to make it 2 in a row to start the year at home?
No, I'm going to.
You're going to
Norwood.
Okay.
Yeah, I reckon Norwood can go 3 straight.
Very good, very good. Peter Baird, your tip this afternoon. You didn't give that. We didn't go through that on pre-match, did we?
No, we didn't. I'm actually going to stick with Balwyn. I think they're a side that have shown that they can match it with the best in Division 1 over the last few years. I think that the concern for Balwyn today, though, Nick Smith not out there, but they've got a player I haven't seen before, Big Scotty Houghton out there. He's a big unit, number 54, but he's got a huge job on his hands today coming up against John O'Wynn. Fantastic seasoned ruckman in Division 1. We saw him play for the Eastern Football League side when they took on the Amateurs a few weeks ago. He was great that day for the EFL. that may give Norwood an edge in the ruck. I'm not too sure. I'm still going to stick with Balwyn. I think Donati's really got this team primed to turn this ground into a fortress this year. I think they'll be tough to beat here at home.
Is this one of the smaller grounds in the whole competition? Brad, I'll
Certainly
ask you this question.
Certainly in Division 1, it's quite a small ground for sure.
It looks very wide out there as well, and I think that's a key to the way Norwood played last week against Noble Park. They pushed the Bulls out wide and didn't give them space to run through that corridor that we've seen Noble Park do over the last few years. So that might be a factor today. If they can get out, if Norwood can flood the corridor and really push Balwyn out wide, they may have a huge chance of being right in this game.
Let's cross down boundary side to Braden Ingram for Akira Urgent Care. Braden, you were at the game here last week. How did Balwyn play the ground? Were they going down the middle or were they playing the arcs?
Yeah, they certainly looked to use the corridor quite a lot, but when they got it inside the 50, it didn't come out. They had 35 more inside 50s than Vermont, and really, once it was in there, Vermont just couldn't get it out. So I think that's what they'll be looking to try and do today, despite the conditions.
Dyson Baker, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats, your tip this afternoon, Norwood versus Balwyn.
Yeah, look, I've been convinced on Norwood at the moment. We spoke to Kevin Tiboldi last week on Akira EFL Sunday, and I think it's one of those things now that we're expecting Norwood to be a quality side and expecting them to take scalps like Vermont and Noble Park and Balwyn. It'll just be interesting to see if they can get off to a good start. That'll be the most important factor in what is a reasonably arid conditions.
I'm convinced, speaking to Daniel Donati twice in the last week, that this side really prides itself on winning the games at home this year, and it's probably the only way I can separate them as well. And haven't seen Norwood for over a year and a half, and I really look forward to this game this afternoon, especially beating a powerhouse side in Noble last week. They'll be riding high on adrenaline, but Balwyn this afternoon, I reckon they're going to get home just. It's the radio game. It's going to be a close one. Brad Henderson to take us away in the round 3 Division 1 clash. Balwyn versus Norwood.
Thanks very much, Benny, as the first quarter does get underway and Balwyn get the first clearance of the game through Harris. The ball landing into the path there of O'Regan. Had some opposition provided by Hill, and Hill's little kick around the corner up towards the wing now for Norwood. Ball is with Ford. Jake Ford at half-back for Norwood. Elects to come inboard into the corridor. Came off hands to Hendry. Shared it with Barker. Barker tries to shovel it out. And Evan Johnson there to provide a tackle and bottles it up. Ball up on the wing position. Wynn competing this time in the ruck against Turner. Thumping kick forward by Gilchrist, looking for Shepherd at the back. Edge was there in opposition. Hill takes possession under plenty of pressure, but he gets the handball away. Doesn't really clear the area though, and Edge bundled over the boundary line there by O'Regan. So a boundary throw in forward pocket. The Balwyn team with plenty of potency in their forward line. Luke Barker down there along with Alan Murray.
Budgie.
Turner palmed it down. Quick kick by Decleur, who's got the job on Alan Murray today. That kick, though, by Decleur's been marked at half forward for Balwyn. Barker the target. Set a hard task. And Luke Barker giving the free kick away to Johnson. And giving a little bit to go on with as well. So free kick goes to David Johnson. Norwood yet to clear the area, though. Short pass is on now to Evan Johnson. Out of defence. Talon kick, but wasn't well directed. Hardiman, who was in Balwyn's best last week, he's taken over the boundary line and will have a throw in. It's on the broadcast side wing of SEN Park, and no score thus far, Benny.
Peter Baird, your early take in this match?
A lot of free-flowing play and movement of the ball really early on. Both teams looking to move the ball through the central corridor.
McMahon got the clearance in the tap out, got the handball over to right. They were working backwards to go forwards. Boundary line beats them. So gone about 2 minutes here in the first quarter. I forgot to press the stop clock because I'm an absolute numpty. So we only sit at about 40 seconds as the ball's being thrown back in. Taken out by Gilchrist. Got a handball over looking for Hendry. Couldn't quite reach the target. In there also was Hardiman for ball when they surge forward now to the Tigers. Kick long inside 50. Getting back is Newman. And he does well. You're going back with the flight of the ball. Norwood look to clear. This is Edge. Last line of defence, kicks it along towards the half-back line, looking for Knowles, but once again, that boundary line. The ball's going to skid a little bit today, a little bit slippery, Brad.
Bit of eye play between Luke Barker and David Johnson. We saw them have a bit of a clash a few minutes ago, and then after that kick out of defence, Barker was the man standing on the mark, and he got cleaned up by Johnson.
The ball goes inside 50 for Balwyn out of the ruck, looking for Murray standing in the back spot, coming across there, and probably earning a free kick for Norwood. They'll kick it, they'll switch it into the middle. Carroll takes it. It's up towards the half-back line. This is Blackie. A little bit smoky around. Hope there's no fire. Stewie Hill takes the mark. Half-back flank.
Barbecue. Yeah, we're sitting right on top of the barbecue here on the balcony, Ben.
So Hill kicks it up towards the half-forward line. Who's down? It's Churgwin. Couldn't get boot to ball. Charging through was John O'Wynn. That was okay because it created the spill. Holmes inside 50. It's a 2-on-1 situation and a good mark taken. It was Jared Churgwin. Swings around onto the left boot. Kick up towards half-back. They got players in the middle. Hendry makes space. Goes for the old 1-2 into the middle of the ground. O'Regan. Oh, they're doing well here, Balwyn. If they can just get the linking handballs towards the half-forward line. This is a good play. The kick was smothered, though. They were looking for the right direction. Loose ball. There's a hot footy early. Gilchrist trying to get the handball out. They're just trying to work the ball forward. In there was Edge for Norwood. Tried to get boot for ball. Handball out there by Johnson. Got it to Ford. Banged it on the boot. Kicked it up towards the half-forward line. Who's back in the pack? San Filippo couldn't quite take the mark. Churgwin, though, he's finding space in that last line of defence. Short pass now to Jared Wright, and he takes a mark in the back pocket. He wanted to play on, though. That was a little bit silly. Maybe the umpire called him play on. Hardeman lost it. Now it's time for Maskin. Can he kick it to the top of the square? He does so now. They've got no players at the back of the pack as Ben Harris now will look to clear for Balwyn.
Indeed he will, and the kick comes up towards half-back. Balwyn, they just look a bit slicker as they bring the ball from end to end. Murray the target. DeClure with the fist did well, palmed it down to Johnson. Edge was tackled. Norwood a little bit untidy as they try to clear the area. And once again, another ball up as Norwood, coming out of defence on a few occasions, have just failed to hit the target. As a result, their defence has been under siege in the first 10 minutes of this first quarter. This time, the Norsemen come away. Shane Clayton has a bounce. Chips it short. Off hands to Ava. Left foot kick around the corner to the top of the square. Handball was fed out. Not sure the mark was paid. High kick by Holmes. And John Holmes has put the kick out of bounds on the full.
Matty McCormack was very stiff there. I thought that was a 2-bite grab, Pete.
Yeah, look from here where it is down the other end of the ground, though, Ben. The umpire was right on the scene, though, so it may have been touched off the boot, or another player may have had first hands on it. Hard to see from this distance.
Dyson Baker, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Inside forward 50s. Balwyn started with the first three. Norwood now leading 5-4.
So Milhusen to bring the ball back in. Coming to Balwyn this year from Blackburn. Went short to Kenner. Out of defence now, Hendry, very short kick. Charlie Hendry, one of the vice-captains of this Balwyn team. Nice pass. Churgwin from wing position up towards half-forward. Murray the target. Great battle going on between him and Matt DeClure in the early stages. Ford dishes off a handball to Hill. Hill under pressure. Close to the boundary line, and getting a hand to it then it was Maskant, but he couldn't keep the ball in play. We had a score yet?
No score yet, bro.
No score for either side so far. So boundary throw in. And free kick will go the way of Balwyn. It's in the hands of Ben Turner. Turner's kick, looking for Shepherd. Edge, great effort, probably should have been paid the mark there. I think he was the only one who got hands to the footy. Quick kick around the corner by Gilchrist. It bounces, but just off target. Despairingly close there for Rennie Gilchrist, the captain of the Balwyn team. And that is the first score of this match. Balwyn have one behind. Norwood are yet to score.
Johnson doesn't waste any time with it. Kicks in to Clare. Is it Declan or Declerc?
Declerc. It is Declerc.
Should have gone with the original. Kick up towards the wing position. Ball comes down. Came out of Shane Clayton's hands. They managed to squeeze a kick up towards the centre wing position. Standing in the front spot was Johnson. Probably held without it. He's going to receive the free kick now. So David Johnson got players out wide and a good mark taken there. I think that's Clayton who's moved up to the half-forward line.
It is. Wingman in the SEN Team of the Year last year.
So Shane Clayton will probably kick from about 45 metres out. Comes in now. He's got a lot of purchase on it, but pushes it to the right-hand side. One behind is the result. So they level it up. We went 5 minutes without a score, and then both sides get one behind on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's all square.
It is indeed Shane Clayton with the minus score there as Steve Kenner to bring the ball back in. Looks as if he's playing deep in defence in this first quarter, Frosty. Kick by Kenner up towards wing position. Turner there was the target, but Norwood had plenty of players to force a boundary throw in.
The thing I've been really impressed with so far, boys, is the tackling and pressure of the Balwyn Footy Club. We heard Braden talk about last week how they really locked it in when they took the ball inside 50. They've started the same vein today. Really great intensity at the ball carrier from Norwood.
It was a huge pack around the footy. It was Johnson who finally got the clearing kick. Handball swept out to
Tregear.
To Tregear. Tregear's kick to the wing. Target was McMahon. And a mark nicely held there by, that was this time by Jury. So Hayden Jury for Norwood. Drives the kick. No mark taken for Balwyn, but they will come out of defence. Kick up towards Shepherd. Fisted away. Murray tried to show some silky skills, but
he's lucky.
Didn't quite turn out the way he planned. Kick by Shepherd was smothered. Ball close to the boundary line. Norwood try to force it out. Ava off the ground. Sockers it forward. Despairing dive there by Sanfilippo. Day, can he keep it in? Can't do so, and over the boundary line.
Great bit of desperation play by Stuart Hill across the half back line there, creating the smother Peter Baird, and then gaining possession for Norwood to just push it that extra 50 metres up the ground.
No, great effort there. Both teams have really come to play today. You can see that, and it's been a really fierce contest, particularly around the stoppages.
Taking possession was Hardiman. Little underground handball. Goes in hard again this time. Strong tackle applied. Ball shuffled out to Ava, who's been pretty prominent early. Hardiman.
25.
And Madison Hardiman there's conceded a 25-metre penalty. So this will go to Matt Ava for Norwood.
Started well.
He has. He was interfered with then after he got rid of the footy. Earned a free kick. It's going to test him. I think he just put it to deep into the goal square from this distance. Matt Ava. Nice looking kick off the boot. Beautiful kick. And he's made it look easy from there. Matt Ava has kicked the first goal of the game for Norwood. First goal for either side, in fact. And Norwood lead 1-1-7 to Balwyn, one behind.
What a fantastic kick for goal that was. He was probably all of 50 metres out then. It's just rocked back and laid it straight through. But really important to that was the 25-metre penalty. It was dealt with really heavily after he got rid of the ball, which earned him that thing, brought him within range, obviously right onto that 50-metre arc there. So fantastic goal there from the Norsemen.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. This time it'll be Hendry to clear for the Tigers. Kick up towards half forward, looking for O'Regan. Good spoil. Running through is Chris Nye. Handballs it back. Gets it to Jury. Probably met after he got rid of the ball. Kicked up towards the half forward line. Running and almost onto. We need to find out who number 2 is for Norwood, guys. So we'll leave that one to Corey Hall, thanks to Akira Urgent Care. Let us know when you can tell us who number 2 is, Corey. The ball's on the half forward line. Houghton's just come onto the ground. He's just an absolute man mountain, isn't he? The ball comes back though to Knowles.
Number
Gets
2
the
for
handball
Norwood.
to Holmes. When there's a breaking play, Peter Baird.
Number 2 for Norwood's actually Justin Gould. He's listed on our record as number 48.
So Nye kicks it up and a beautiful lead that time there by Matty McCormack, and he comes out and takes a strong mark in front. A 2 grabber this time that the umpire said, yes, I'm going to pay that one, Brad.
Matty McCormack is capable of busting a game wide open. I saw him do it on one occasion at least last year for Baronia, and he's the type of player who can kick multiple goals in a burst. So dangerous for the Balwyn defence today.
Got to take the most of your opportunities this afternoon as McCormack comes in from 50. The goal umpire does not move straight through the middle. That's his first and Norwood's second. They move to a 2-1-13 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, a 12-point lead over Balwyn, who are one behind. Peter Baird.
He might be the replacement forward that Norwood are looking for to replace Lee Williams there. Great lead up, strong hands he's got at the ball there, and a fantastic kick for goal. Great start here from the Norsemen. 2 early goals. Balwyn yet to score.
Let's go to Dyson Baker thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Two marks inside 50 for the Norsemen out of 10 inside forward 50s. Inside 50s for Balwyn, 5 zip.
Umpire throws it up. In that glue pot in the middle, the Norwood ruckman has got his back completely covered in mud.
Winnie needs a shower.
Jonathan Wynn, can't see his number at the moment. He's going up against big Scotty Howden. Howden won the tap that time. Plenty of players at the fall of the ball. Strong tackle was applied on McMahon. And Balwyn, I should say, have it. Harris, the target. Very short, intricate little kick. Not really advised in these conditions. Jury goes short to edge. Perhaps too far out. Sorry, in fact, it's Brent English. He's a thumping kick, Brent English.
Look at that.
Watch this. Bang, goal. A beautiful goal from Brent English from a long way out. Puts it through. That's his first of the day. Norwood have their third, and all of a sudden, they've just opened up a very handy little buffer there. 3 goals, 119. Balwyn have 1 behind.
What a fantastic call from you there, Brad Henderson. You called him as a thumping kick. He's rocked back on that left foot and absolutely roasted it through from 55, 60 metres out. But the really crucial part of that play was the mark that should have been taken there by, I think it was Rod Crow in the middle for Balwyn, number 8. Dropped that mark, turnover of play, caused the Norwood goal.
No clearance this side for any side. It comes out to Johnson, bangs it on the boot for Norwood. They go up towards half forward again. The man who kicked the last goal, man of the moment, bangs it forward. So that was Evan Johnson. Who was that?
Brent English.
English.
Mark's been paid.
So the ball's in the forward pocket. I think it's Matt McCormack who's taken that down in the forward pocket. Would that be right, Brad?
Yep.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed, Benny. So it is a left footer, so don't write him off from, even though it's a very difficult angle, he can certainly kick this goal.
Kicked 1 goal already, only a couple of minutes ago. The last 5 minutes by the Norwood Football Club has been very impressive. They'll try to make it 4 in a row if McCormack can make do with this from only 10 metres out. He kicks it straight through the middle and with a drop punt as well. That is all class. Matty McCormack boots his second. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, Norwood moved to 4 goals, 125. Balwyn 1 behind 1.
What a start this has been from the Norsemen. Exactly what they would have wanted. Balwyn a bit concerned. They saw Noble Park kick 8 goals against them in the first quarter. They play catch-up footy all day after that. They don't want to be doing the same again against Norwood here today.
I'm surprised also more players don't go at goal with a conventional drop punt when it's on their preferred side, kicking for goal. Like Matty McCormack made it, that looked pretty easy. And for a left footer, it wasn't a particularly difficult kick, so no need for any fancy tricks on this occasion.
Norwood are starting a couple of players behind the play too, so a couple of those players in defence, which is interesting.
And the 2 they are starting back there are the 2 Johnson brothers, Davey and Evan Johnson. So they're the 2 that the Norwood like to set up through coming out of defence and like to free up. So Kevin Tiboldi's trying to set up those playmakers loose up down there in their back line.
Quick kick forward by Gilchrist. It was intended there for Hendry. Got a free kick. It's paid against Hayden Jury. So Hendry belts it long. Balwyn just need to steady here. They need a couple of quick goals. No mark by Murray, whose hands have looked a little unsure so far today.
Another smother by Hill.
Great work there in defence by Stuart Hill. And we'll have a boundary thrown. And, you mentioned the Johnsons before, Frosty. Certainly Evan Johnson in particular, very creative in defence and can work his way out of just about any situation. Quick kick around the corner. I think that was by Hendry. Yes, it was. but the kick was just off target. A minor score. What a handy goal it would have been for Balwyn. That's Balwyn's second behind. Their 2 behinds, and Norwood are 4 goals, 1-25.
So Johnson goes short to Clayton. Just working the boundary line. Another short pass. Marriott. Does it just inside his defensive 50. Elects for the long option. Kicked it to a 3-on-1 situation. Getting back was John Milhusen. Takes a strong mark, kicks it into the middle of the ground. Hendry once again. He might even get 25 there for just a stupid push in the back after he took the mark. He's going to get it, so Hendry will come up to not within range, but definitely handy, and it was a pretty stingy 25-metre penalty as well as he gets the ball off. Gilchrist goes long from outside 50, but pushes it to the right-hand side. So they're peppering the goals ball when they move to 3 behinds. They're trailing Norwood 4-1, 25 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We've gone 19 minutes.
You really need to try and spot up a target there. Can't keep taking pot shots from outside 50. They'll get blown away by the Norsemen if they do that.
Johnson's kick was dangerous, and he's put it out on the full. He intended the kick then for Stuart Hill, but it missed the target. Short pass for Barker, close to the boundary line. And you were spot on, Ben, about the stinginess of that 25-metre penalty a couple of minutes ago. But at the same time, Charlie Hendry couldn't have looked any less interested in taking the penalty. Just wanted to give the ball off. Boundary throw in. Johnson shares it with Nye. Chris Nye. Penetrating kick was intended for McCormack. And boundary line was beckoning.
Speaking of boundary line, let's cross down boundary side to our Akira Urgent Care boundary riders, to Braden and Corey. Let's hear about them ringing in the changes and what the current benches stand at, guys.
There's been a high interchange rate for Norwood so far. Not exactly sure who's off right now.
We need you to find out that information as the ball's on the half-forward line. Kick inside, this time by Nye up towards the McCormack direction again. 2 players in the ball and defence spoiled each other. The ball hits the deck. Quick ball out there. That time by Sam Filippo. Couldn't hit the target. They're working hard still, the Norsemen. The forwards are keeping the ball in. Quick handball there by Milhughes, and they're going to clear the Tigers. Kick up towards the wing position. Striding after it is Hardiman, but the kick went wide, out of bounds on the full. So the handball comes back in. Ava, been lively early. That's the spot you want to kick it to. The hot spot 20 metres out from goal. Ball fisted away. Oh, nearly could have been plucked out a free kick. The umpire's letting the play go, which is what we also like to see. So the ball about 25 metres out from goal, Norwood's end. Gone into time on here in this first term. It's currently a 22-point lead to Norwood. They get another goal in junk time. Handball out there, Hardiman. They've got to get this ball out of the danger zone ball, and they do so now. Handball into the middle, going for the old 1-2, right, back. Kick towards Murray, couldn't get there. One bite, fisted over the boundary line. They'll be happy with that. Ball goes over the boundary line, centre wing. Rain staying away here this afternoon. Round 3 Division 1 clash. Norwood versus Balwyn. It's the away side, Brad, who's got the early lead.
Yeah, they got off to a great start, but Balwyn have just managed to hold firm the last few minutes. Ball at half back for the Tigers. Oh, sorry, half forward for the Tigers, I should say. Little handball shuffled out by Ava. Got it to Ford. Jake Ford's long kick. Around the boundary line. Strong tackle applied. And a boundary throw-in will result.
Let's go down to Braden Ingram, thanks to Akira Urgent Care on the boundary.
Yeah, boys, currently Balwyn on the bench, number 12, Paddy Armstrong, number 37, Liam Fraser, Matthew Shepard, and also the ruckman, Scott Howden, number 54.
Putting the early pressure on our Akira Urgent Care boundary riders, Brad.
Indeed, as the short pass was on. Good to know who's waiting to come on for both sides, as Hendry. Handball backpedaled to Harris. Had his wing held behind him then. Good pressure. Great pressure being applied. Ball paddled along the ground. Hardiman tries to trap it now. Had Holmes in opposition. And that building you can just see. So, well, you can't see it on the radio, of course. But for us, just across the other side of the ground, that shed, very close to the boundary line. As English pumps the ball forward.
He's a beautiful kick, isn't he?
He is indeed. And the ball lands in the forward pocket. It's been marked there. I think this is Carroll.
I thought it was Ava, but I'll
Yeah,
go with you.
I think you're right. It is Matty Ava. So Matt Ava, just inside the field of play, wants to run around, kicks across the face of goal. That's a bit of a let-off for Balwyn because they didn't really try to make Matt Ava earn the shot from goal then. He was able to improve the angle without any pressure, but in the end he still put the kick out of bounds on the full.
Let's cross down to Corey Hall, thanks to Akira Urgent Care on the boundary.
Thank you, Ben. On the boundary for Norwood is David Johnson, Chris Nye, Zach Carroll and David Blackie.
Thank you, Corey. As Clayton surges forward from inside 50 and bangs it on the boot and kicks his... I think that's his second goal for the term, is it? No, it is his first, but it's Norwood's fifth. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, in time on, and Norwood moved to 5 goals, 131. Balwyn are 3 behind, so a margin of 28 points here, just short of quarter time, Pete.
Yeah, the thing I've really liked about Norwood's defensive structure is when they flood their numbers back in defence, they don't actually just flood to the side of the ground the ball's going on. They're actually forming a wall right across the ground from the centre out to that side, which is actually pushing Balwyn out really wide. We heard they did that to Noble Park last week. The Bulls sort of worked it out a little bit in the second half, but Balwyn haven't really worked out how to get around this defensive pressure from Norwood.
Centre clearance this time by the Balwyn Football Club. They were looking for Murray. He's been out of touch early in this first term. Norwood looked to clear it. Charging through in there is Shepherd, going to run the ball over the boundary line and out of bounds. So we'll have a ball in just in front of us here, broadcast position. Dyson Baker, some important stats thanks to Choose Tap.
1%ers, Norwood 11 to Balwyn 3. That's Shepherd's, Smothers and the like.
Umpire was a short ball in this time, tried to fist it. Who was number 2 again, Peter Ben?
That's Gould.
No, that's Luke. It was Luke Barker.
Oh, sorry, Barker. Yeah, of course. So Lukey Barker, bottom of the pack as well, doing all the work, it would seem, just inside 50 for Balwyn. They need a quick answer. Well, they need a goal, let's face it. Don't know if there's a breeze down there this afternoon. We'll find out about that one. Knocked down by Turner. They're going backwards to go forwards. Balwyn kick up towards the hot spot. Who's going to put their body on the line? Ball slips out towards the boundary. It's going to be paddled over. So there's about 25 players in this forward arc for Balwyn. So the Norwood backs try to hold that ball in and keep the home side goalless for the first term, which is definitely a mean feat. So comes through the arms of Hendry, Clayton. She's been everywhere in this first term. Paddles the ball out to the wing position right near our urgent care boundary riders.
Sorry, BWS, just dropping in with some scores at quarter time. Scores will be 2-1-13 to Knox, 2 behinds. Mooroolbark 2-2-14 to Donvale, 2 goals straight. Roval 3-7-25, Doncaster 3-2-20.
Boundary throw in, wing position. Jury got the handball away. Jury chases his own footy now, shares it with Clayton. Clayton's little underground handball didn't go too far. And boundary throw in, it was Gould that time who couldn't quite control the football. So boundary throw in, broadcast side of SEN Park, which is the grandstand side. Quick kick by Clayton, high up and under ball. Well played by Tregear, does well, takes the opposition on, has a bit of time.
Beautiful.
Lovely kick through some pretty heavy traffic. That was well played to Kenner. Little Stevie Kenner's kick. Inboard was also very good to Gilchrist. Great build-up here from the Tigers. Barker the target, but the kick from Gilchrist was to a 2-on-1, and David Johnson had that kick well and truly scouted. Shares it with Jury. Norwood come out of defence now. Ball in the hands of Marriott. Not his best effort with the kick though, and the ball's been turned over. So Balwyn have another chance to launch. Through the middle. Ball comes out towards the wing. Slippery little handball to Gilchrist. Under pressure, Gilchrist kick again to a 2-on-1.
Didn't go the ball.
And Barker's given away another free kick. You can understand how it keeps happening. Obviously, Norwood have those extra couple of players in defence. David Johnson, he's loving it down there. He's having a picnic as the loose man. Poor kick, he's turned it over. Kick was intended there for Marskant. Marked by Shepherd. Barker Under pressure, tries to get boot to
Oh,
ball.
clever.
Got it out to his teammate there, Ian Armstrong. And Pat Armstrong has kicked the goal. And there's going to be a free kick paid. It's against Murray. It's against Alan Murray. And it's going to Nick Edge, the free kick. And Alan Murray is getting, will be the recipient of a yellow card.
Text in your scores this afternoon on 0410 495 582. We want the scores from out in the east as you go local for your footy.
No yellow card shown thus far, but the umpire's got the book out. It's one goal on the board for Balwyn. That was their first goal through Pat Armstrong. And they are 1 goal, 3-9. Norwood are 5 goals, 1-31. And indeed, Alan Murray has been shown the yellow card. It was for an infringement on Nick Edge of Norwood. And so Norwood, you would think, will get the ball when play resumes.
Well, it has to be the way. The guys are setting up in the middle of the ground as if it is going to be thrown here. Now they've cottoned on, so it'll be Jonathan Wynn to search the ball forward for the Norsemen.
Yeah, great description there, Brad Henderson.
I only just caught the tail end of it, Frosty. I'm not sure if you saw the instant. I saw Nick Edge go to ground. Didn't see what Murray did. So the ball at half-back. Kick was smothered off the boot. That time of Jared Wright. Little handball underground. A lot of players around the footy. Balwyn out of defence now. Hendry. Poor kick. David Johnson almost takes another mark. Shepherd provided by Newman, but the umpire felt that was illegal. And now a 25-metre penalty as well against Johnson, who booted the ball forward well after the whistle had been blown. And so a free kick goes, and a free kick and a 25-metre penalty goes to Luke Barker.
That could be a crucial 25-metre penalty there, Brad Henderson. Less than a minute remaining on the clock till quarter time. Brings him perhaps to within range here to kick Balwyn's second goal.
There's a chance. He's within range. He's a long kick, Luke Barker. Has kicked a lot of long goals over his career for both Croydon and Balwyn.
Great
Launches
kick.
it, and he's hit the sign behind the goals. Made that look easy as well. Luke Barker gets his second, and Balwyn 2-3-15, Norwood 5-1-31.
Yeah, he'll be very disappointed with the 2 late goals, will Kevin Tiboldi. Norwood jumped right out of the blocks to kick the first 5. Balwyn have hit back very late. Well, both their goals in time on. So he'll be dirty on that fact that they've been able to do that. But Daniel Donati gets his team back into the game there. Both of them, interestingly enough, coming from 25-metre penalties.
Wynn got the knockdown. Turner's moved into the middle, but we'll have a restart.
It's just silly too from David Johnson, because he would have had no idea which way the free kick had gone. So he's just taking the gamble on the fact that it's gone their way and that it won't be the penalty.
Kick forward by Ford out of the middle of the ground, goes inside 50, ball paddling away. Going to be taken by Crow. Gets the handball off. Kenner swings around on the left boot, tried to be cute, but he wasn't that. Handball out Nagel. Can they squeeze the ball forward? They're going to get out of trouble here, the Tigers. Millhusen got the handball. They can switch the play here. They've got players running on the outer side as the siren goes and the rain comes down. Quarter time out at Balwyn Park here today. And it's Norwood 5-1-31. Handy little lead of 16 points over Balwyn, who are 2-3-15. We'll be coming back right back with all the around the ground scores with Ben Waterworth right here on EFL Game Day.
The Mount Dandenong Preschool are holding their annual Chestnut Festival on Sunday, May the 6th at the Kallarama Recreational Reserve, Mount Dandenong Tourist Road, Kallarama, from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. There will be entertainment for the children and a diverse range of stalls to browse along, including art and craft, food stalls, chestnut sellers, white elephant, fresh produce and bric-a-brac, and Michael the Balloonologist. The highlight of the festival will be the hot roasted chestnuts. Come and join in this great day on Sunday, May the 6th at the Kallarama Recreational Reserve in Kallarama.
Radio Eastern 98.1. And we have some scores from the AFL, and these are scores which are into the second quarter, about 10 minutes. First of all, Essendon and Brisbane. Essendon 11-6-72 lead Brisbane 5-1-31. And down at Cardinia Park, a 15-point lead to Geelong. Geelong 5-10-40 lead Melbourne 4-1-25. Radio Eastern 98.1. What do you do when you have a medical emergency? Public emergency departments do a great job, but they're always busy and often have long waiting times. Private hospitals charge you $280 and more for additional services. But at Ikira Urgent Care, there's no waiting, and you'll only pay a maximum of $150 out of pocket, which includes other diagnostic services you may need. So which option would you choose? Ikira Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Baronia, or call them on this number, 9839 3333, 9839 3333. Radio Eastern, 98.1. We'll be going back very shortly to our boys at the ground. We were just going to bring you some information. We just can't at the moment. We're working on it. But what I think we'll do is we'll catch up with that later. But let's take you back to the boys at Balwyn. Over to you, fellas.
Thank you very much, Peter MacArthur. Just giving you some around-the-ground updates, from around all EFL games. In Division 1, South Croydon 3-2-20, leading Lilydale 1-2-8. In other Division 1 games, Knox 2 straight behinds to Scoresby 2-1-13. In other games, Noble Park 1-6-12 to East Ringwood 2-6-18. In Division 2, Donvale 2 straight 12 to Mooroolbark 2-2-14. Mulgrave 2-1-13 to Montrose 5-5-35. And Roval 3-7-25 to Doncaster 3-2-20. In Division 3, Baronia 4-5-29 to Heathmont 1 straight 6. Glenmoverley Hawks 3-2-20 to Ringwood 1-5-11. Wanturna South 4-4-28 to Churnside Park 2-1-13.
Right, fellas.
And Forest Hill 5 straight behinds to Sylvan 2-4-16. And in Division 4, Nunawading 1-1-7 to South Belgrave 6-38. Let's head to Dyson Baker, who's in this. Let's head to Dyson Baker, who has got all the stats that matter from the first term. Thanks to Choose Tap. Be smart, choose tap water.
Yeah, look, the Norsemen 5 goals to 2 in that term. Marks 23 Norwood, 24 Balwyn. Tackle count was big, 16 to Norwood, 10 to Balwyn. Hit-outs for 14 to Norwood, Balwyn 12. Clearances was reasonably even, 11 to Norwood, 12 to Balwyn. The 1%ers, as I said, Shepherds and things like that, 14 to Norwood, 6 to Balwyn. Inside forward 50 count, started off with the Tigers relatively comfortably, but in the end it was Norwood 18 to Balwyn 13. Free kick down 8-5 in favour of Norwood. The marks inside forward 50, 5-1 in favour of Norwood. And the centre clearances 4 apiece for that term. Thanks to Choose Tap, Yarra Valley Water.
Choose Tap doing a fantastic job. Be smart, Choose Tap. Just getting a couple of other scores as working on the fly here. The Basin are 4-10-34. The Eastern Lions are only 1 straight 6. Gee, the Eastern Lions are lucky that hasn't been a blowout. That is a 28-point lead to the Basin. And just getting another score here. East Burwood 6-3-39 to Vermont 3-4-21. So a good start there for the East Burwood side against Vermont. Of course, repeating the score here out at Balwyn, Norwood a 5-1-31 to Balwyn 3. Is it they kick 3 goals in that term, Brad?
They,
2 goals.
2 goals 5? 2 goals 2?
2 goals 3.
2 goals 3, 15. Working beautifully with no scoreboard here at the moment. Well, we'll cross down boundary side soon to our Akira Urgent Care boundary riders. But Peter Baird, just quickly, your thoughts on the first term and how that played out. A very good start for Norwood.
Norwood jumped out of the blocks there. The first 5 goals of the game, they really did it through tackling pressure, smothering pressure at the ball and ball carrier. Balwyn, though, they're hit back with the last 2 goals of the quarter. A couple of indiscretions. 1 turnover from Davey Johnson caused a Balwyn goal. The other one there, he gave away a 25-metre free penalty when he kicked the ball after a free kick. 2 of those indiscretions have brought Balwyn back into the game late in the quarter, but Balwyn will be really looking to kick the first goal of this quarter to narrow the margin to really make this a tight ball game.
Dyson Baker, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats, the important first quarter stats.
Yeah, we've jumped through a few of them just with Ben Waterworth on that occasion. It was probably the most important one, I think, was the 1% account. As I said, at Shepherds and things like that, Norwood 14 to Balwyn 6, really wanting to do the hard work. It was 16, the tackle count to Balwyn 10.
Second quarter to get underway, Brad Henderson.
Thank you, Ben, as Jonathan Wynn wins the first ruck tap of the quarter. Doesn't travel too far, though. The ruck battle's been pretty much a stalemate so far. Harris, the recipient of the free kick here for Balwyn. Just pulling up, just adjusting the strapping there on his arm. Nice little handball. Gave it to Jared Wright. Neat pass by Wright to O'Regan. Mark O'Regan. Bit of an up and under kick. Didn't really do his forwards too many favours. Hill in defence. Hugs the boundary with the kick. Knowles the target, and that was easily picked off by Mark O'Regan, soaring over the pack.
Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Braden Ingram, who was at the Balwyn huddle at quarter time.
Yeah, Don Donati was disappointed with the intensity after the first 5 minutes. They started well, Balwyn, but after that they just dropped off. Was also just disappointed that they weren't lowering their eyes. When they were going inside 50, they were just bombing the ball in there and it was coming straight back out. And in terms of Alan Murray, who got that yellow card, he received it for high contact to the throat.
Perfect time to throw it over to Corey, who was over with Kevin Tiboldi in the Norwood side. They'd be pretty happy, Corey.
Yeah, they are at the moment. He just said that he wants Balwyn to have nowhere to kick, so he'll just say, oh, well, we'll just give it to Norwood. He said that the intensity has got to stay high, keep it up, and that they need the front spot.
Thank you very much to our Akira Urgent Care boundary riders this afternoon, toughing it out in the wet weather. Decent crowd down here at Balwyn Park. Get down here. It's sure to be a good game, Brad.
And it has been so far indeed, but Norwood still leading at this stage as Kenner takes possession. He's off and running. Very short pass to Gilchrist. Gilchrist kick. Had plenty on it. Plenty of Norwood defenders back there, though. They pile in over the top of the footy, and the ball up will result. Good build up again from Balwyn. Rennie Gilchrist finding plenty of the footy. Hasn't quite hit the targets the way he would have liked to this stage. Hardiman hands it off to Turner. Turner's kick carries over the head of the big ruckman down there. Now, has someone got boot to it? No. Newman was tackled by Barker. Kick comes across the face of goal and out of bounds on the full. Free kick to Norwood.
Not much wind out there, Brad Henderson, but every player in that goal square misread the flight of that ball. Very interesting.
Yeah, they sure did, and not sure the kick was all that easy to mark in the end. Edge, bit of an up and under kick. Johnson the target, has already taken plenty of marks in this game. O'Regan's handball. Goes in hard again, O'Regan. Gave it to Hendry. A lot of players over the footy. Gilchrist there trying to apply a tackle. Hendry finishes up with the footy and hands it to the umpires. The lead is still a handy one at this stage for Norwood after that very bright opening by them. Blackie, who spent most of the first quarter on the bench. Chris Nye, little kick around the corner was clever. Bullet, half back now. Norwood building. Well, that's Nye, in fact, who had it fisted away from him. Rod Crow takes possession. Off to Jared Wright. Lovely pass. He's always pretty good by foot. Gave it to Hendry. Promising build-up again from the Tigers. Thumping kick by Hendry to the top of the square. They compete about 5 metres out. And Shane Clayton in the end was able to force the ball through for a minor score. That takes Balwyn on to 2 goals for 16. Norwood are 5 goals 1, 31.
So they've been peppering the goals early in this term, Balwyn, Peter Baird.
Yeah, much more fluid ball movement there from Balwyn. They really were able to link up with a chain of passes. Probably the first time we've really seen them run and carry all game.
Hill's got the mark across half back.
Blood rule.
So he's been sent off. Started okay in the first quarter. Big Stewie Hill, he always does well floating across the back line. Skillful player, played at Norwood a few years ago, then left. I think he went and studied, and now he's back at the club. So definitely a good addition. It'll be Carroll once we restart it. elects to go short. Only a small ground out here at Balwyn Park. Short passes on. I don't know about this, but they kick it up towards Blackie. Put his body on the line. The umpire said you can't play advantage from a mark. So to go back to Blackie, wants to move it on. The umpire's going to call him back again.
It's a rule that so many supporters don't understand, and it's not complicated.
Go short to win into the middle of the ground. Probably needs a shower at half time. Handball off. They're riding the wing. Evan Johnson takes the mark. Slowing it up. Short passes on. Maskin. They're doing okay. Breaking away is Blackie this time in the middle of the ground. If they can find him, they won't. They go backwards. Switches the play. McCormick. He's come up from the forward line. Sloppy handball over the top, put Carroll under a lot of pressure. Now it's Barker for Balwyn, gives a handball backwards, and the Tigers are going to surge forward. Hendry just bangs it on his boot, kicks it to the top of the square. Shepherd's in there, so too over the back. Hardiman, can they raffle it? Very nicely done by Liam Fraser. He kicks his first goal. That's Balwyn's third, and that's the first for the second term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Balwyn moved to 3 goals, 3-21. It's a 10-point ball game. Norwood a 5-1, 31.
3-4-22 Balwyn.
Really smart kick there from Hendry, though, to the top of the square. Saw 3 Balwyn players with only against the 1 Norwood defender. So Hendry using his experience there, putting it into the right spots. The Balwyn forwards knew the ball would be coming in. They were able to run onto it into an open goal there, Brad.
They were, and you don't like to isolate one mistake too much, but Matty McCormick's handball in the middle there was sloppy, as you called it, Ben, and that created the turnover. And
put Carroll under heaps of pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. They were looking good at that stage. Gilchrist takes possession, forces it quickly on the boot. Good nice mark by Barker. Had front position and just hugged the ball to his chest. It's not Luke Barker, in fact. It is Luke Barker. Sorry, I was right the first time.
You were.
Thought you'd be able to pick him out from the eyeliner there, Brad.
He's presented well. I know the game's still young, but he is presented for this whole match. He's working very hard.
I'm going to back him in again here to kick the goal. Driving kick, lovely kick off the boot, makes no mistake, and Luke Barker has 2 goals on the board now. Balwyn have their 4th. They're 4 goals, 4-28. Norwood are 5 goals, 1-31. And all of a sudden, we've got a ball game that's just 3 points the margin.
That's the goals, the 2 goals there that Daniel Donati would have been looking for from Balwyn in the opening part of the quarter. They've narrowed the gap right up there. Fantastic kick from goal there from Barker. He was able to lead out Mark solely and go back and kick that from 45 out. Fantastic start to this quarter from Balwyn.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. Wynn versus Turner. It was Wynn Dyson who got the knockdown. That was okay. They're surging forward. Charging after the ball was Marriott. Couldn't trap it. Handball out by the ball and backs is okay. Running into space is Jared Wright. Can he trap the ball? No. Johnson's on his hammer. He's also got running support in Maskin. If he can squeeze the ball around on his left boot, he does so now to Blackie. Good mark. Front spot. It's where you've got to be on a day like today. Kicks it to the hot spot. Running and charging out is Nagel. Also there was Clayton. Beautiful play there by Sanfilippo. Balked 1, balked 2, then snapped it around the body. Liam Fraser will charge after the ball, but David Johnson comes in and takes a terrific mark for Norwood. Kick up towards a half-forward line. Stretching was Matty Ava. Couldn't bring it in, and we'll have a boundary throw-in. So the umpire to bring it in right in front of that Balwyn bench. Win to go up. He's been probably the dominant ruckman so far. Turner that time, they got the knockdown. A bit of a throw happening. The umpire saw that. So the kick by Maskin up forward will come back to the half back line. So it'll be Hardiman. Short options on. Centre half back. It's okay.
Very short.
Harris. No, definitely went the required meterage. But just switches the play. O'Regan's left foot kick up towards the half forward line. It's okay. Well, the handball was terrible to Muhausen out on the far side of the ground, and the ball skittled over the boundary line and out of bounds. So a 3-point ball game here. Norwood, they got off to a flyer with the first 4 goals, and Balwyn have just been creeping back. Turner got that one down this time. Win. He did well to get to the rover position really in the end, and now it's Balwyn to kick it up towards the half forward line. Lucks of Fortune, well, not really Lucks of Fortune, it was a good play by Norwood. Kick inside 50 is very scrappy. It now becomes a foot race, 1-on-2. Charging is Brent English. He likes to snap the ball. He does, but on that familiar left boot of his. It only goes as far as a Rod Crow, last line of defence. And Balwyn looked to clear it again, Brad.
Yeah, and what English's gesture then after he kicked the footy was, where was my shepherd, so that I could have a bit of time to load up rather than put a hurried kick on the boot around the corner. Gilchrist's handball, intercepted by Nye. Short kick by Nye to the forward pocket. And over the boundary line, good defence there from San Filippo.
Let's go around the grounds for the quarter-time scores, Ben Waterworth.
Yeah, Division 1 South, Croydon leading by 12 points. Ball, of course, Norwood in front here. Blackburn over Croydon, Scoresby over Knox, East Burwood over Vermont, and East Ringwood over Noble Park.
Back into play, thrown on the boot then by Gilchrist. Another indiscriminate kick by the Balwyn captain. Has turned it over a couple of times today. Ball in the hands, looks like Carroll. Loads up, very high kick. Turner set himself for it.
Where's the
Crow
talk?
came from behind. They spoiled each other. Off hands to Knowles, who has a flying shot at the goal. He's just off target. But that's dodged a bullet there, the Balwyn defence, because as you said, Ben, no talk there between Rod Crow and Ben Turner. And in the end, they spoiled one another.
Text coming through on 0410495582. Division 2 score between Bayswater and East Doncaster, Ben Waterworth.
Bayswater and East Doncaster. Bayswater 4-5-29. Doncaster East 2-1-13.
The kick in now. Sorry, I was going to tell you to keep going with those Division 2 scores, but the ball feels down. Milhusen. Handball now. Norwood are going to go forward. Clayton, they switch the play. This is okay. The ball on centre wing. Where are the options? That barbecue smells oh so good as the ball goes up towards the Ava direction. He had a fly, comes down, San Filippo's there. So too is Fraser, trying to squeeze the ball out or hold it in. Well done, San Filippo. Handball over the top, running onto it. He's right. Can he trap it? No. San Filippo's not giving up. He paddles it backwards to go forwards. Crow overran the ball. Charging in this time is English. Can he pick it up and get onto that left boot? He picks it up and he's completely tackled, wrapped up. So the ball's about 35 metres out from the Norwood goal. Some other Division 2 scores, Ben Waterworth.
Yeah, Murrelbach by 2 points over Donvale. Montrose by 22 over Mulgrave. Roville by 5 over Doncaster.
Ball comes up, Turner got the knockdown, comes down to Nye. Can he get boot to ball? Swinging around, his kick was partly smothered. Marriott still about 25 metres out from the hotspot. Nye again to the top of the square, flying over the back of the pack. Do they have the numbers? Norwood, it's a hot footy. Who can get ball to ball? English off the ground. Nye anyway, out of nowhere, soccer style. Lionel Messi at your heart out as Nye puts through an important goal for Norwood, as Balwyn have been coming, and Norwood kick their sixth and move on to 6 goals, 131 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. A little bit of breathing space. Balwyn a 4-4-28.
Baronia 4-5-29, leading Heathmont 1 straight 6. Templestowe 8-2-50 to Warrandyte 2-3-15. Eccles was 6 in the first quarter. Glemoverley Hawks by 9 points over Ringwood. Wantirna South by 15 points over Chenside Park. And Whitehorse Pioneers 3 straight 18. Coldstream 1-6-12. Quickly in Division 4. East over the Eastern Lions and South Belgrave over Nunawading.
Important goal for Norwood to steady there through Chris Nye, and again it's Nye who drives the ball forward. Kenner back there though for the ball. So the umpire to throw it up. Tosses the ball up. Ball palmed straight down into a sea of bodies and plenty of heavy traffic there. Charlie Hendry was all bundled up there by Nye. Those two players have both been terrific so far for their respective teams. Finding plenty of the footy. Clayton provided a shepherd, cleared a path for his teammate in Marskant. Marskant's kick into open space. This is promising. High ball for Norwood to the pocket. English had strong opposition there from Milhusen. And he's looming large, Brent English, up forward. Been a dynamic midfielder for Norwood over the last few seasons, but I think they see that he's capable of kicking a lot of goals if he plays forward, and that's the thinking. There's the kick by Hendry, and Hendry has found the boundary line. Nice kick to touch.
Centimetre perfect.
Indeed it was. Indeed it was. Frosty, as the ball will be thrown in, broadcast side.
Corey Hall got his first possession for the year.
Back into play now. True wing position. Strong tackle applied there by Fraser, who kicked a good goal in the first quarter. Handball by Marskant, coughed it up though. Hendry, little give to Churgwin. Churgwin's pass finds Fraser in those pretty bright red boots.
He's been good this quarter.
His kick wasn't a good one. To a contest. Fist there by Edge. And over the boundary line.
Dyson Baker, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Yeah, look, a few interesting ones. It started to even up as we get through the quarter. 15 tackles to Balwyn, 8 to Norwood. Hit-outs have pretty much been dominated by Norwood right throughout the game. 12 in favour of Norwood to 3 Balwyn.
Little handball came out. Free kick goes to Marskant. The ball's going to have to come back. I was wondering why Liam Fraser was making no attempt to smother the kick from Marskant then, and the reason why was he was aware of the fact that the umpire blowing the whistle. Ball had to come back. Came back to Edge. Short pass was on. So Norwood try to build. High kick. Crow set himself. So too did San Filippo. Interfered in the back though of his opponent in McCormack. Lovely pass by Matty McCormack to Knowles. David Knowles, bit of a goal sneak for Norwood on occasions. I think he feels that this will test his distance. He really does want to give it off. No confidence at all, Frosty, in the approach. Pretty determined to just sit it to the top of the square. And in the end, he made the distance pretty easily, but never once looked like he thought he was any chance whatsoever of kicking the goal.
And I think the kick showed that as well, Brad Henderson. What didn't look comfortable in going back for the kick, and the kick just spewed off the boot. But I'm not sure what those arcs are out there. They could only be 40 metres because players seem to be really making the distance, no problems at all.
Yeah, they're definitely not 50-metre arcs, that's for sure.
So Kenner brings the ball in. Crow has it now at half back. The kick wasn't anything flash. Ball goes into the middle. Hot footy on the deck. It's still pretty dry out there. It's not as wet as what it might seem if you were standing around the ground this afternoon. The rain's holding off for this stage.
This ground's improved out of sight over the last few years, Ben, since Balwyn first came into competition.
So the ball's kicked up towards the half-forward line for Balwyn. Over the top of Carroll's head, running over it is McCormack. Boundary throw-in right near that shed that's basically sitting on the ground, as Brad mentioned in the first quarter. High to bring it back in. Wynn versus Turner. Terrible throw-in. Probably only went 10 metres, so the ball hits the deck and have a ball up about 50 metres out from the Balwyn goals. They currently trail by 10 points. Got about 18 minutes in this second term. Half back. Handball backwards. Johnson. They're doing okay, Norwood here. They get to create the switch or kick it up towards half forward. Long kick now. Nice work by Balwyn this time by San Filippo to get the handball back to Jared Wright. Short passes on. Armstrong. Trying to move the ball quickly. Here's Milhusen. It's a better play because they've kicked it up towards the wing position and they've taken a mark out there, Balwyn. So it'll be Ed McCutcheon. Short passes on. Mark taken by McMahon. So just sizing up the options. He might be called on here, McMahon. He is now. Kicks it to the top of the goal square. Who can stand tall or who can get the roving bit of play here? The umpire might have even plucked out a free kick to Balwyn here. Trip at Peter Baird. You don't look impressed with that one. It was a charge at the pack. They'll have a shot from point blank range, and that Marco Regan will be having the shot.
Yeah, I think very lucky to get that free kick. As you said, tried to take the tackler on. He's gone to ground, though, so probably just a stray hand or boot or tripping him up.
O'Regan yet to kick a goal for the day, and he still hasn't. Made a mess of that one. Pushed it across the face, probably from only 10 metres out. Minor score is the result. So Balwyn on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard moved to 4 goals, 5-29. It's a 9-point ball game. Norwood 6-2-38.
So just a bit of a lull settling over SEN Park at the moment as Johnson brings the ball back in. Poor kick. And it's been well marked there by Kenner. Nice pass to Gilchrist. Now he's kicking's probably let him down a bit today. Can he conjure up on this occasion? He's going to go back and have a shot. Although in the end, there's so many players on the goal line that you would think struggle to get it over their heads. Runs very close to the man on the mark. Kick lands close, or just inside the field of play. It has been marked. And the mark held there by McCutcheon. So Ed McCutcheon, hard up against the boundary line. Judged the flight of the ball very well then. He was going to run around slightly, improve the angle. Kicked into the man on the mark, which was Holmes. Norwood come out of defence. Wasted opportunity there for Balwyn. Ava the target. And it's interesting how the ground just sort of slopes away a little bit on that wing position, broadcast side wing. That kick found the boundary line pretty easily. So boundary throw in. Came off hands Harris. Good in and under player, as we heard pre-game from the Balwyn coach Daniel Donati. Ben Harris. There's a bit of a scrap there.
Half-time score at Surrey Park, 2-2-14, the home side, and Park Orchard's in the lead at 4-8-32.
Marriott goes short now for Norwood. It's on wing position. Ball is with David Blackie. Blackie, he goes very short as well. Dangerous kick. Really set his teammate a hard task. Harris takes possession now. Goes the old 1-2 with Kenner. Dangerous handball this time from Harris. Was intercepted by Clayton. Could have been a high tackle. No free kick paid. Ball in the hands now of Ava. Has a bit of time to steady. Fires at the goals. McCormack tried to compete. Came off hands. Little quick kick. What's he done? He's missed it. And that was Gould, whose kick was probably should have kicked the goal.
Had a bit more time than he realised there, I think, Brad.
Not a lot of system going forward there from the Norsemen, though, was there, by any means?
The kick by Wright up to centre wing position. Tried to find the target in McCutcheon. One bite, but Murray was running well in support. Kicks it inside 50. Strong mark out in front taken by Barker. He's going to swing around. He might even fancy himself here, wasting no time as Barker goes long. And it's a great kick to the line. The umpire might even pay this. I think it's gone through. It has. What a kick by Lukey Barker. He led from the front and just didn't waste any time, Peter Baird. And that is a telling goal as Balwyn kicked their fifth for the afternoon.
They look so much better, Balwyn, when they move the ball so quickly. They're not held up by the Norsemen, depriving them of an option. When they move the ball forward like that and stop Norwood flooding back and pushing them wide, they look just so much more silky and smooth in the way they move the ball. And from then, the great finish from Barker, deep in that forward pocket, probably 50 metres out. A great finish, puts Balwyn right back in this game.
Well, thanks very much, Frosty. It is 6-3-39 Norwood. Balwyn 5-5-35. Luke Barker, 3 great long goals in this first half. They've all been from well outside 45 metres. Hardiman with the handball. Gave it to Gilchrist. High left foot kick. And the mark's been well held in defence. Short pass on to Ford. Norwood. Now another foray forward. Zach Carroll got treated pretty crudely then. It was a late tackle and it was high.
That's stiff. You got to pay that advantage.
No advantage paid this time. It was stiff. And, I mean, it doesn't make sense that Zach Carroll's got the footy now anyway because so he's got to give it up because it was paid downfield. So the free kick goes to Blackie.
Cormac put
David Blackie. Up and under kick. Big fly. No mark taken. Shoveled out by Wright to Sanfilippo. Gee, coughed that up. Gee, had it for a long time. Gave it to Gilchrist. Little Stevie Kenner now out of defence. Gave it to Murray. Murray just shows a bit of that fancy footwork that he's renowned for. This is a great build-up from Balwyn. The kick's gone across the face there from the boot of McCutcheon and over the boundary line.
Once again, they move the ball so fluidly when they're able to link up through handballs and not be deprived of space by Norwood. So they've really worked that out. It took Noble Park probably 3 quarters to work it out last week. Balwyn have worked it out probably early into the second quarter here out at Balwyn Park.
Throw in now. Fed out by Knowles. Got it to Clayton.
And Hardeman there appealing for a deliberate out of bounds. The umpire didn't agree. I think it's fair to say, Ben, as a St Kilda supporter, former Saint, Alan Murray, we need a lift from him if Balwyn are going to win this game this afternoon. Handball came clear. Hardeman takes possession now, lines up the goals, and he's just off to the right. Minor score for Balwyn. Takes the Tigers on to 5 goals, 6-36. Norwood 5-3-33.
Dyson Baker, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Yeah, look, a few interesting ones. Tackle count, Tigers leading as well as the 1%er, so doing a lot of the work without the ball. Tackle count 16, Balwyn and Norwood 10. 1%ers 10-4 in favour of Balwyn, and inside forward 50s 18-12 in favour of Balwyn.
Let's see what's happening down at boundary level with our Akira Urgent Care boundary riders. Braden Ingram, how's it going down there?
Yeah, boys, pretty good. The weather looks like it's gone away for a while, but it looks like it could set in again. We've got a couple of boys on the boundary. Marco Regan's just come for a spell. He's put in a pretty good effort, and we'll just see Balwyn looking all right, and they need to finish well in this second term.
Thank you very much to Braden Ingram from Akira Urgent Care, sponsoring our boundary riders this afternoon. It's a free kick going in the way of Zach Carroll for Norwood, deep in the back pocket. So I'm not sure what that was for. You, Brad?
No, not sure. Didn't seem to be much in it.
Holding in the marking contest.
So Johnson switches the play. It's still very deep, Norwood. Stuart Hill presents on the wing position, who's having a good quarter too. Edward McCutcheon takes a good mark at the back of the pack, kicks it into the middle of the ground. It could have been a little bit dangerous, but his teammates received a free kick. So ball in the middle of the ground. Benny Turner, he'll take it.
Free kick count 6-5 in favour of Norwood, thanks to Choose Tap.
Thank you, Dyson Baker. He loves that Lilydale water.
Yarra Valley water.
Yarra Valley. Lilydale, it's out
same
the same
region.
way. Yeah, it's
Oh,
out that
no.
way. Turner's kick
Suck
was an
kick.
absolute grubber. Ball still inside forward 50. Gilchrist got the handball out. Hendry gets down low. He nearly could have got a shove in the back. Umpire says play on. Norwood trying to switch it. She's got to get ball to boot. Maskin does so now. Kick up towards the wing position. They've got the numbers, the Tigers. Armstrong wasted no time kicking the ball back up to the half forward line. Ball over the back of the pack. It's a little bit of kick-to-kick style here. The player's ripped down. The umpire's going to come in and have a bounce. So you're recording the stoppages this afternoon, Dyson?
Yeah, look, the stoppages right throughout. Clearance is 9, all in favour of no one, but for the match it's 21-20 in favour of Balwyn.
Wing got the knockdown. Gilchrist was in there. He nearly could have got a shove. A free kick. He's going to get it. So the captain might fancy himself from here as well. Looks like he may be lining up. So Gilchrist yet to kick he has kicked one goal for the... No, he's yet to kick a goal for the
No,
day.
he hasn't, and he's no chance, Benny, from here.
You heard it first from Brad Henderson.
Positivity.
Comes in, Gilchrist. It's a lovely kick off the boot. He's just pushed it to the right-hand side. It's actually gone through for a goal. You've put the moz on him, and he just went jam that, Brad Henderson. I'm going to put this one through from 45 metres out. And Balwyn hit the lead for the first time this afternoon on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. They are 6 goals, 5-41. Norwood are 6-4-40.
How come the goal umpire was gesturing that he missed it initially? Oh, wow.
And here come the Cockatoos.
A flock of cockatoos is just engulfed Balwyn Park out here. What a fantastic kick for goal there by Gilchrist.
Yeah, it was. It was a great kick, and he's kicked his first. And yeah, I didn't think he could kick it from there, but he did.
I've been really impressed with their goal kicking. They've got players that can really roost the ball from a long way out today, Balwyn. So Lukey Barker's done it three times, and now Gilchrist.
Kick forward there was by Shepherd. Hendry off the ground, probably just seemed to want it a little more than his opponent, got to it first.
Clever.
Hendry thumps it forward. Big pack and contest, and the big fist came over the back there.
He's been really good this quarter, Charlie Hendry. Really been really tough around the stoppages and starting to provide a lot of drive for Balwyn.
Send in your scores today to 0410 495 582. Thanking everybody in the East sending through your scores to Ben Waterworth.
Barker won the tap down. Shepherd around the corner, high up and over.
Don't tell me!
What a goal! What a goal by Matty Shepherd. Made something out of nothing, and came off the hands of Barker then, and Shepherd with the kick around the corner puts Balwyn's 7th on the board. They are 7-6-48 to Norwood 6 goals 4-40.
You'll go a long way to see a better goal than that in First Division football. We saw a couple of rippers out at the South Croydon game in round 1, but that one there, mark that one down as a potential goal of the day, Ben Warren-Smith.
We need to get an award. We need a voucher or something to give to these great goals that we see every week. In the middle of the ground, it was a free kick paid to Balwyn, and Harris surges the ball up forward again, and standing in front was Tregear. And he comes out and takes a mark about, once again, that 45 mark region. We've seen players kick it from there all afternoon, so I don't think the distance will be a trouble, Pete.
No, shouldn't have. Interestingly enough, that Balwyn look much more prepared to take a set shot from this range than what Norwood are. They seem to be put it to the top of the goal square and looking for the mark there, and Balwyn run it out. Balwyn, though, they go back and take the set shot from on that attacking forward arc.
Shane Tregear on the left boot, on the siren, puts it through the middle, and Balwyn kicked their 8th for the game. And they get a little handy lead of 14 points at half-time here at Balwyn Park. 8 goals, 6-54 are the home side. Norwood are 6 goals, 4-40. What a game we're seeing this afternoon. A little bit of how do you do before the boys go in and assess how the first half went. We'll be back after the break with all the around-the-ground scores right here on EFL Game Day.
Urunga Community Centre, Croydon Hills Drive, Croydon Hills will hold cardio boxing classes. That'll give you a workout using boxing techniques that give you a different way to burn calories and have fun too. 2 new and exciting classes start on Tuesday the 8th of May at 9:15am and another class on Wednesday the 16th of May at 6:30pm. Increase your energy, gain strength and de-stress at the Urunga Community Centre. For cost and bookings that are essential, please contact 97228942 for full details. Credit card facilities are available at the centre. That number again is 97228942.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Gully Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Gully, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Gully Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
You need to find a field of premium potatoes, a deep-sea prawn trawler, and a herd of prime beef to create Australia's best steak meal. But the great thing is the Hog's Breath Cafe do it every day. So you only have to go to one place to enjoy the most tender, juicy prime rib, slow cooked for 18 hours until it's the most unbelievable steak you ever tasted. Hog's Breath Prime Rib, the best a steak can get, and only at the Hog's Breath Cafe.
Program sponsor.
Radio Eastern 98.1. And we have some scores, not very good scores though, but Essendon and Brisbane, we don't have the goal score, but we have the point score. Essendon 88, well ahead of Brisbane 46, Lovett Murray playing well. And the other match from Geelong, the score you heard earlier, Geelong 5-10-40, Melbourne 4-1-25. Sudden fever, aching body, sore throat, chills, nausea, headache, dizziness. It sounds like you need medical assistance urgently. It's difficult getting an immediate appointment with your GP when you need care fast. So, come to Ikira Urgent Care, where you don't need an appointment. They're Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road in Baronia, or call their number on this number, 9839 3333. 9839 3333. Ikira Urgent Care. Your health, your destiny.
In desperate need of some windows but your budget's too tight? Never fear, because the team at T&B Window Warehouse has the right solution for you. We have surplus windows to suit the needs of any budget. We're located at 120 to 124 Bayfield Road East, Bayswater North. Give us a call, 8727 7506. That's 8727 7506. T&B Window Warehouse. Don't forget the name, part of the EAL and AW Transport Group. Number 1 in window transport. Program sponsor.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
And we're loving going local for your footy here at Balwyn Park, and it's a fantastic game out here at Balwyn Park as well. Balwyn have hit back 8-6-54. The Tigers, Norwood 6-4-40. A fantastic quarter by the Balwyn Football Club in that quarter. In other Division 1 games, South Croydon 6-4-40 leading Lilydale 4-8-32, and Blackburn 9-7-61 to Croydon 3-4-22. Knox 2-3-15. Trailing Scoresby 3-5-23, so a low-scoring game between those two sides as we expected. In Division 2, Donvale 4 straight 24 to an inaccurate Mooroolbark 4 goals 12-36. Montrose 8-12-60, doing it easily over Mulgrave 3-3-21. Roval 7-10-52, leading Doncaster 6-4-40. Upper Ferntree Gully 8-7-55 to the Waverley Blues 4-5-29. In Division 3, Baronia 6-8-44 to Heathmont 1 straight 6. Gee, Baronia doing it easy at the moment. Templestowe 9-4-58 to Warrandyte 5-5-35. Good comeback by Warrandyte in that quarter. Glen Waverley Hawks 5-4-34, leading Ringwood 3-8-26. Wanturna South 8-6-54. Churnside Park 5-4-34. Whitehorse Pioneers 4-1-20. Surrey Park 2-2-14 to Park Orchards 4-8-32. Sylvan 5-7-37, leading Forest Hill 4-9-33. The Basin 9-12-66, leading the Eastern Lions 3-3-21. And South Belgrave doing it comfy over Nunawading. South Belgrave 12-2-74 to Nunawading 3-5-23. It's now time to head out to our Division 3 match of the round, and it is, of course, Warrandyte taking on Templestowe. It's a very good afternoon to Will Taylor.
A very good afternoon, Benny, and what a game it has been out here at Warrandyte Reserve between the Warrandyte Bloods and the Templestowe Dockers. And of course, coming to this game, Warrandyte have lost their last 3 games. Just recent one here at Warrandyte against Wanturna South, while Glen Waverley defeated Templestowe by 2 points over at Templestowe. First quarter started, and Warrandyte kicked the first goal of the first term, and the crowd here was up and pumping as Warrandyte kicked the first goal in the first 2 minutes. But from there on, it was all Templestowe, and it was all through the likes of Paul Eccles and Kane Gomez through the middle. And all of a sudden, Warrandyte were in the back foot, and all of a sudden they saw themselves behind by 35 points at the end of the first quarter. 8-2-50 Templestowe, Warrandyte 2-3-15. And Eccles had 6 goals by then. We all thought he's going to score around about 20 goals by then, but going to the second term, Warrandyte finally showed some form that we all know Warrandyte could, and of course they didn't kick the first goal in that second term. It was all Templestowe who kicked the first goal through the lights there, and then making it to a 40-point lead with 4 and 20 minutes to go in the second term. But Warrandyte, to their credit, they absolutely dominate from there on, and they kicked 3 goals to 9, which reduced the margin back to 23 points here at half-time. Just some true match stats for you. Templestowe inside forward 50, 26-22. The clearances 20-12 in favour of Templestowe. The marks inside forward 50, 7-2 in favour of Templestowe, and Eccles had 4 of those. And the free kick count 19-16 in favour of Warrandyte. So at the moment we've got a very interesting game here at Warrandyte, and we're expecting the Bloods probably to come back in this second half and make a bit of a fist of this game in a very, very wet Warrandyte here at Warrandyte Reserve. So back to you, Benny.
Thank you very much, Will Taylor. Make sure that you stay dry. We don't want you getting in any wet T-shirt competition, so make sure you stay dry out there at Warrandyte Reserve. Just repeating that score, Templestowe 9-4-58 to Warrandyte 5-5-35. Just got a score during Will's report just then from John Sword and the team out of East Burwood. And good on East Burwood. They are doing it magnificently at the moment. East Burwood 9-8-62 to Vermont 5-4-34. So a 28-point lead to the East Burwood Football Club at half-time. In a couple of other scores, let's go back through Division 4. Park Orchards 4-8-32, leading Surrey Park 2-2-14, but it's only 18 points of margin out there just down the road at Surrey Park Reserve. Sylvan 5-7-37, leading Forest Hill 4-9-33. The Basin 9-12-66 to the Eastern Lions 3-3-21. South Belgrave 12-74 to Nunawading 3-5-23. In other Division 3 scores, Whitehorse Pioneers doing it well against Coldstream. Whitehorse Pioneers 4-1-25, only down to Coldstream 4-8-32. That's a margin of 7 points. Wanturna South 8-6-54 to Churnside Park 5-4-34, and Baronia doing it easily over Heathmont at the moment by 38 points. That's all the scores around Division 3 and 4 in the Eastern Football League. Well, let's find out some news, what's going on around the world. And as he does every single Saturday afternoon, it'll be 9 News at 6 o'clock tonight. He'll be reading the news. That big bright smile will be on your TV screens. It's a good afternoon to Clint Stanaway.
Good afternoon, Ben. How you going?
I'm doing very well, mate. How are your D's going down at Simmons Stadium today?
Oh, well, they started off the second half pretty brightly. They're playing under some pretty threatening skies down there, but the Cats have just, as they do, just slotted 3 quick ones, and they're out by about, what's the margin now? 31 points. Make that 32 points. So the Demons showing plenty of heart. The Bombers doing it pretty easy at Etihad Stadium as well.
Must be pretty ordinary conditions down there at Skilled Stadium. Blowing a gale, I assume?
It is. Melbourne are kicking with a pretty strong breeze, and as I say, it's starting to bucket down right now. So look, plenty of good signs for the Demons though. So Mitch Clark's slotted three nice goals. So no, they're not going altogether badly.
Beautiful. What else is happening around the world, Clint?
Well, tonight at 6, a motorcyclist clocked 130 kilometres over the limit, would you believe? The Peter Slipper scandal has intensified as attention turns to Mel Brock's involvement in that. Also in the news at 6, a 48-year-old woman has been charged with murder after a body is found in a creek. 3 Australian soldiers, unfortunately, injured in Afghanistan. Plans to reduce Westgate Bridge gridlock with ferries. There's been a dramatic river rescue in the city, and Big Brother, it's back. Audition. No. Yes, it is back. I thought you might be down there auditioning for that.
This is very ironic you asked me this, Clint, because actually the guy who's presenting and commentating our game today, Ben Moran-Smith, actually went down to the Sydney Myer Music Bowl today and auditioned, but turned his back because the line was too long.
I was going to say, how did he go? He would have been a Monty, wouldn't he?
No, I don't think a Monty's the right word, but at least he would have tried his heart out.
Well, the auditions were in Melbourne, as you say. Long lines, lots of keen participants. So let's wait and see what we produce in the news at 6.
Oh, gosh, well, you can't see yourself on Big Brother, besides, of course, the Channel 9 commitment, but you wouldn't see yourself on Big Brother, Clint?
Never.
Good stuff.
Never.
All right, we'll catch up next week.
See ya.
Clint Stanaway, the sports presenter there on 9 News. You'll see him at 6 o'clock tonight, and I'm very glad he's presenting the news at 6 p.m. tonight instead of going on Big Brother. Yes, just for all those interested out there, Ben Moran-Smith actually did go to the Big Brother auditions today, saw the line, turned his back. Probably a good idea as well. However, it would have been extremely humorous to see the man with a very large beard, the very large head, and the very much lack of hair go about his business. Just getting a score through from Tracy Walden at Noble Park. And Noble, this is an interesting score here, Bradley. Noble 2-11-23 to East Ringwood 2-6-18. Noble only up by 5 points, and the majority of us thought that Noble Park would win that one big time, but it's only 5 points the margin. And out at North Ringwood, tight one. I think this is a quarter time score though. North Ringwood 4-3-27 to Mitcham 1-1-7. There you have it. We'll have some update around the ground scores after this break, but we're going to take our next break is that very loud siren here at SEN Park. You certainly know when it's time for a break, and that's a perfect cue and a perfect segue to head to our next break. And after the break, we'll come back with our coverage of the third term between Balwyn and Norwood right here on EFL Game Day.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Gully Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Gully, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Gully Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
If you love your EFL footy like I do and you love getting down to see your team play, you don't want to be spending your weekend stuck in the car driving. That's why I opened a Breeze account. Eastlink is the quickest, easiest way to get around Melbourne's east, and Tag's the cheapest way to use Eastlink. So open your Breeze account online at eastlink.com.au today and use Eastlink in the cheapest possible way with a Tag account. Instead of being stuck behind the wheel, I can have more time getting stuck into the umpire. Ball! Eastlink, it's time better spent, like at the footy. Program sponsor.
At Hogsbread Cafe, we're serving Aussie-style great food and a feel-good attitude. Now we're going the whole hog with pasta, more seafood, chicken, rib dishes and fresh salads. And always our famous 18-hour slow-cooked prime rib steak. What are you waiting for? Come in for lunch or dinner and experience the value that is Hogsbread Cafe.
Chadstone, Dandenong, Coringal, Knox Ozone and Water Gardens. Come in and experience some hospitality.
Our hospitality is all about you. We do great steak.
Program sponsor. In Desperate.
Radio Eastern 98.1, some AFL scores. Essendon 16-10, they're leading Brisbane Lions 8-4-20, and Geelong 13-12 are leading Melbourne 8-4. That's at half-time. Radio Eastern 98.1.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Thank you very much, Peter MacArthur. Welcome back to SEN Park here in Balwyn with a reasonably close game to half-time as the rain absolutely buckets down. They wouldn't want to be a boundary rider as I try and spot them up in this second half. It's not going to be a pretty sight. At half-time, it is 8-6 playing 6-4. Balwyn kicking 6 goals 3 to Norwood's 1 goal 3 in that second term. I'll take you through some of the stats that matter and then we'll head over to Brad Henderson and also Peter Baird. We'll go through marks in that quarter. Norwood 26 to Balwyn 25. Tackles 12 Norwood to Balwyn 19. Hit-outs 5 to Balwyn and 16 in favour of Norwood. Clearances, though, it was Balwyn 11 to Norwood 9. 1% account, reasonably good for Balwyn as a bit of a recovery in that second term. 11 to 6. Inside forward 50s dominated by Balwyn in the second quarter. 22 to 12. Free kick count is in the second term was 7-6 in favour of Balwyn. It's 14-12 for the match. And marks inside forward 51 to Norwood in that term, 3 to Balwyn, and the count is 6-4 in favour of Norwood for the match. Your thoughts, Peter Baird, on that first term? Obviously, I know it gets said a lot, and it's a statement that really doesn't make sense. But it was a game of it's been a game of 2 quarters so far. Norwood really dominating the first term, and then Balwyn turning it around, kicking 6 goals in that second term.
Yeah, up here at the balcony at Balwyn, it's very hard not to hear Daniel Donati at halftime address his playing group right behind us.
The fact that you were in the change rooms as well.
I did wander in there to hear what he had to say, but he did single out 2 players in particular. One of them was Ed McCutcheon. He said the Norwood guys would be thinking, who is this guy playing at centre-half forward for them? He said he took some great marks for them, really provided that impetus. And he said the point in the game where the game turned was about the 8-minute mark of that quarter when Balwyn really lifted their intensity. They did those 1%ers you were talking about, Dice. They're tackling, they're smothering, they're pressuring at the ball carrier. That's where they were able to turn this game around. The other player he really singled out was Rod Crow. Fantastic across half-back, dropping in there, filling in the hole, providing the confidence for the Balwyn midfield. And this is what he said. Every time Norwood take the ball forward, our midfielders are confident that Crowy's going to get it and rebound the ball out. By doing that, they're able to spread wide, provide run, get out on their own, get into space, and deliver the ball down to Barker and the other forwards in McCutcheon. Fantastic turnaround of this game by the Balwyn Footy Club. They were down 5 goals to none early in that first quarter. Yep. Since that time, they've come out, they've kicked 8 goals to 1 to really turn this game on its head. He did say that that end that the Norwood will be kicking to in this quarter is the scoring end of the game. Balwyn, if they can go into the 3-quarter time break with a lead, they're really going to set themselves up for a win here today, and this is really where the game's going to be run. They call it the premiership quarter. Well, it's going to be very interesting, Brad Henderson, to see if Balwyn are in front at 3-quarter time.
It definitely is, Frosty, and it was much different that second quarter from what we saw in the first term, and Balwyn were pretty unimpressive in the early stages of this game. There's no doubt they got their game together in that second quarter.
We'll hear some of the stats from the first half, some of the stats that matter with Dyson Baker.
Yeah, look, a couple of interesting ones. The tackle count is reasonably even, so too the marks. A lot of stats sitting reasonably even. Inside forward 50s, Balwyn 35 to Norwood 30. As I said, the free kick count 14-12 in favour of Norwood. The hit-out count, Norwood doing it pretty comfortably at the moment, 30-17, but the clearance is 23-20 in favour of the Tigers as we start the second half.
Thanks very much, Dyson Baker, as the second half does begin on 98.1 at Radio Eastern. This round 3 clash between Norwood and Balwyn in Division 1 at SEN Park. And it's Johnson who gets the first effective disposal of the quarter. Gave a handball out to Clayton, who was well wrapped up. A lot of players over the footy. You just feel that stoppages and packs forming, that's going to be the order of the day in this second half. As the rain continues to fall, there's a free kick the way of Norwood. It went to Jake Ford. His kick didn't hit the intended target. There's another free kick going to the Norsemen. And that one seemed to be, I think it was for over the shoulder. It's gone to Chris Nye.
With the ball on the deck this quarter, Brad Henderson, it's going to be very important that the players get their tackles below the shoulders because it's so easy when a player's on the ground to get them high.
Absolutely. And Nye fires up. Quite a unique kicking style that he has. He's off target this time, minus score for Chris Nye, but I think he's going to be very handy in this second half. He's going to be an important player for the Norsemen in the second half here today. As the rain continues to fall, conditions become harder. We'll cross down shortly to our boundary riders in just a moment and hear what the coaches had to say at halftime. We did hear a little bit of that from Frosty just a moment ago. Ball with Ben Turner at half-back. Turner, pretty good kick in the conditions, was intended that time for McMahon. Came off hands to DeClerc, got it from Carroll. Handball hard up against the boundary line and we'll have a throw in. So it might be an opportune time to cross down boundary side with Corey.
Hey boys, Coach was happy with the first half but disappointed how it turned out towards the last 10 minutes of the second quarter. He pretty much repeated what he said at quarter time in keep the intensity up, get him to turn the ball over and stay forward.
Bit of confusion just on the boundary at the moment as well, it's a blood rule in effect, and so play has stopped for the moment. Marco Regan comes on, but he had to come through the interchange gates. Wasn't aware of that initially, and so he's come on the field. And we'll pick up in a moment who's come off under the blood rule. I think it might be Armstrong for Balwyn. Check down with our boundary riders for that one as well. Who's just left with the blood under the blood rule?
Ryan McMahon for Balwyn it was.
Thanks very much. Brian McMahon coming off. Bit of blood around the eye by the looks of it. Strong tackle applied again by O'Regan, who's just come on the field. And we are going to see a lot of this, Benny, in this second half. Ball ups and stoppages because these conditions have... just during the halftime break, it really started raining quite heavy. And
Not to mention get dark.
Yeah, it's gotten a lot darker. It's a miserable day now, unfortunately, for football. Didn't start out that way, but it's turned nasty the last couple of hours. A lot of players over the footy once again. Another ball up as we see the, just in front of our broadcast position, see the Balwyn interchange players go through their paces with Dylan McMahon is there along with the big ruckman Scott Houghton and also Liam Fraser. As it stands,
interesting tactic out there, Brad, I can see from Daniel Donati. He's dropped Charlie Hendry back off the contest, making Davey Johnson actually go and pick him up and not be able to free up as that loose man, providing run from half back.
Yeah, I reckon he did a great job as that loose man in the first quarter, but his effect was negated a bit in that second term, David Johnson. So, real stalemate at the moment. Quick kick comes forward. Carroll got hands to it, couldn't complete the mark. DeClerc applies a strong tackle. And at the moment, Benny, not a lot happening. The score don't think has changed since half-time. It's still 7 goals, 6.48 for Balwyn. Norwood a 6.440, and so far Luke Barker has 3 goals for Balwyn, and Matty McCormack 2 for Norwood.
One behind added for Norwood, thanks to Choose Tap. 6-5 is at Norwood's score so far.
Thanks, Dyson.
We're crossing to Dyson, thanks to Bendigo Bank for the rest of the afternoon for the scoreboard. It just makes life a little bit easier. We nearly got held onto in the ruck. It comes down to Hendry, bangs it on the boot, looking for deep for McCutcheon. Boundary line's going to beat him. Screaming for out of bounds on the full was Stewie Hill. The umpire's not that silly. Boundary throw in. Boundary throw in. Forward pocket. Way of Balwyn. Currently leading by 7 points. So the umpire to bring it back in. Knock over the back, comes down to the fall of the ball. Murray handballs it backwards. Trying to squeeze a kick out wide to Hardiman. But he got beaten to the ball. Kick around the body. This is Marriott. Should have been the first to meet her, but running in really hard was Ryan McMahon just to paddle it over the boundary line and out of bounds right down near our very wet Akira boundary riders this afternoon. Don't forget our player of the day, sponsored by Narellan Pools. If you need a pool, there's no better place to go than Narellan Pools. It's the umpire, brings it back. Kick deep into side 50 for Norwood that time. A little bit of holding ongoing. And is it going to be a free kick to Norwood, I think? That's amazing. Matt McCormack, he's going to be the recipient of it. So he's already kicked 2 this afternoon. He's directly in front, about 30 metres out from goal. Pete, that was probably a bit each way, that one.
Yeah, luck's a fortune for McCormack. He was in the right position, though. He's earned the free kick. Mark this one down. He will put this one through. A fantastic kick for goal with McCormack.
So, as I said, he's already kicked 2 this afternoon. He's pretty close. You put the house on it, really. McCormack comes in, drop punt straight through the middle for his 3rd, and Norwood 7th for the afternoon. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, Dyson Baker.
7-5 Norwood plays 8-6 Balwyn.
So Peter Baird, a pretty handy goal there. It's despite the conditions, it's a good start by both sides.
It is. Norwood have come out with much better intensity this quarter. Their tackling really dropped away in the second half of that second quarter. Kevin Tiboldi's obviously worded them up at half-time. They've come out much more pressure, better tackling intensity. So they really look switched on here. They really want to try and jump out to a couple of goals lead by three-quarter time. That is the scoring end, that Whitehorse Road end of the ground. So they really need to make the most of it in this third quarter.
Back in the middle once again. Tight game of footy at this stage. A lot of players over the ball. Holmes had his kick partly blocked. Strong tackle was a little bit late there from Armstrong. Balwyn able to defend. Gould tried to take possession, couldn't do so. And the boundary line again is the victor. Good battle going on between Luke Barker and Jesse Newman. I think you'd certainly give the honours to Barker. Alan Murray's had Matt Declure shadowing him throughout this game, and I think Declure's definitely won that battle to this stage. Quick kick forward was smothered once again. A lot of players over the footy. It's a bit of a rugby scrum at the moment. It's really all the players can do is just try to force it forward. Huge numbers around the footy. And involved once again then was Charlie Hendry, who had a great first half. Almost vying for best on ground honours, I would say, in that first half. Quick kick was smothered. A lot of players over the ball. Gee, it's a hotly contested footy. It was Shepherd who finally somehow scrounged a kick out of the pack. Carroll, high ball, marked by Clayton. Shane Clayton, captain for Norwood, swings around, looks for McCormack. Fisted away by Crow to Kenner. Kenner's kick looking for Barker. Nicely worked back there by Declure to help out his teammate Newman. And the boundary line is found once more. So at this stage, it's a 7 goals 5 Norwood, 7-5-47 to Balwyn, 8 goals 6. Sorry, thanks Dyson. 8 goals 6 for Balwyn. Short pass is on. The mark taken. Is it paid to Harris just inside the field of play? No, the umpire deemed that second touch was over the boundary line. just threatening to break open here. Balwyn 8-6, boundary throw-in their forward pocket. Shepherd has done some nice things in this game. Got it out to the big, got it out to
touched off
teammate.
the boot.
It was touched off the boot of Ben Turner. And a minus score takes Balwyn on to 8 goals, 7-55. Norwood 7 goals, 5-47.
So it's Stuart Hill to bring the ball back in. He went to Newman. He might use him again. The umpire's called him back.
Oh.
He's always going to go for the short option. So Jury takes the mark. Still in the defensive arc, goes wide. Marriott takes it. Still about 70 metres out from the ball and goals. Norwood have it. Marriott elects to go long. It's a good option too, fisted over the line by Milhusen for Balwyn. We have a boundary throw in now. It's about 70 metres out from the Balwyn goals. The Norwood goals, I should say. Just waiting for the ball to come back in. No one wanted to give it to the umpire. They made him work about 30 metres to come onto the field, pick it up and then run back to the line. A little bit stiff when they run around the ground all afternoon. Brings it in. No player got clear disposal. The umpire's plucked out a free kick. So it went to Marriott, got the handball off to Holmes. Holmes goes long inside 50. Milhusen double fister over the back of the pack. That was handy because the ball's gone over the boundary line and out of bounds. You right there, Peter Baird?
Yeah, you just said something funny without even realising it.
Get your mind out of the gutter. To the umpire. Cormac that time. High ball, Kenner's underneath it. Takes a good mark. Waste no time getting on with it. Ball's still in the back pocket. Short options on. Jared Wright. Looking sideways. You can sense he wants to go into the middle of the ground here. He takes off now. So Wright switches the play on that far side, finds Milhusen. Looking for some running support, goes back inside. Rod Crow doubles back. Mucking around with it a little bit here, Balwyn. Just need to get the ball onto the boot, and Luxa Fortuna goes into the middle of the ground. Mark's taken by Chergwin, wants to go on with it. They've got players across the half-forward line in Tregear. He's all by himself. Tregear unloads from 50 metres, arches it back and pushes it to the left-hand side. That was a bit of a letdown. One behind is the result, moving Balwyn to 8-8-56, and Norwood are 7-5-47, and we've gone 12 minutes in the third term.
Yeah, real patient, slow burn sort of build-up there from Balwyn. And then it just broke open with Shane Tregear, but he couldn't quite finish off. He had time. There's a kick from Decleur. Not his best effort. The mark well held there by Turner. Ben Turner gives off a little hand. Gilchrist all on his own, takes the mark safely on his chest. Doesn't waste any time. Little underground kick to Alan Murray. And Murray made a, not a great kick. He made it look good then. Diving to take the mark. Good slips catch in the end from Alan Murray.
First mark inside 50 for either side, thanks to Choose Tap.
Well, he hasn't kicked a goal today, Alan Murray, and this would be an important one at this stage for Balwyn. It's usually a pretty good kick for goal, particularly good on the run. And from the set shot, he's pushed it across the face of goal, so a minus score. Balwyn, 8 goals 9 now, thanks Dyson. 8-9-57 to Norwood, 7-5-47.
Carroll plays to himself. Kicks it long outside the defensive 50. Balwyn looked to have the numbers. Standing in the front position was David Johnson. Got a little handball over the top. Ball spills to Balwyn. Snap across towards the half-forward line. Hendry stood strong, took the mark. Gives the handball off. They're running now. The Tigers kick to the top of the goal square once again. Another let off. It floated helicopter style back into the post. And another behind to the Tigers. So they move on to 8 goals, 10-58. And it's 11-point lead on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Norwood are 7-5-47 as Newman takes the mark. And the short kick in.
Gee, did well then, Hendry, to take that mark.
He's been super today, Hendry. Putting in his bid for the Narellan Pools Player of the Day. The kick goes in the Hill direction. He did well to put his body on the line. Speak of the devil, Hendry was caught without it. Hilly comes back in, took the handball, went backwards. That was sneaky. Maskin gained some valuable meterage, tried to find his teammate in Nagel, but the boundary line beats them both right in front of our boundary riders down there, Braden and Corey. So we'll have a boundary throw in.
It was Madison Hardiman there in the hands of the trainers for Balwyn, but he's recovered. He's back into the play now.
Houghton got that down this time. Came to Clayton to Balwyn, moved the ball through the middle of the ground. Grubby kick by Wright. Couldn't quite find a teammate meeting. It was Jury for the Norsemen. Put his teammate under pressure, streaming through his Kenner. Nearly could have got a free kick for a push in the back. Shepherd's getting down low. It's in that mud patch in the middle of the ground. Norwood squeezed the kick out to half forward. A terrific tackle, and it's going to be rewarded. It's going to be a push in the back against Gould. That is very stiff. Thought the chase was worthy of a free kick, and he puts his body on the line once again to Gould and worked the boundary throwing. That was terrific play to come back from that.
Fantastic recovery from Justin Gould then. Great second effort. He gave a free kick away, which I don't think was there. Should have been rewarded with holding the ball. Wasn't paid. And then mopped up and provided the decisive intercept. Great footy.
Pye brings it in. Ball hits the deck. He's going to bounce it now. So it's on centre wing position here. Houghton versus Wing. Houghton used his body to let the ball just hit the ground. Holmes squeeze one up towards half forward. Good hands to Clayton inside 50. That's good footy. Getting down low and taking a strong mark that time. I think it is it McCormack? No, it's not McCormack. It is Nagel. So Nagel, it's been pretty good today, Brad.
First time I've seen him, to be honest, better.
Well, he got the ball. He got the ball only a minute ago. So
I guess first time I've heard him called today.
No, I thought he's worked well across the half forward line.
That was Gould again, who provided that little slick handball to Clayton.
You're supposed to agree when you don't know. That's the rule. Nagel comes in from 40 metres out, puts it on the boot and straight through the middle. That's his first for the afternoon. It has to be because apparently he hasn't touched the ball. Norwood get their 8th. They move to 8 goals 5, 53 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Still trailing by 4 points. Balwyn at 8 goals 9, 57.
What a great first kick of the day for Nagel there. Going back, putting it straight through the middle, Nick Nagel.
How have you rated his game?
Now you guys are bagging him on air, so keep going.
No, not bagging him, actually bagging you, BWS. I was just thinking the same thing when you said he'd had a good day. I'm thinking I haven't seen him all day myself.
I said I was impressed with how he's worked.
Bit of a Trojan workhorse.
Thank you very much, Dyson Baker. Ball back in the middle.
Back in the middle indeed, and it was a good goal there to Nick Nagel, who kicked 2 last week for Norwood in that low-scoring win over Noble Park. Quick kick forward there by Crow, who's played a grand game down in defence.
Now there's a Trojan workhorse game if ever I've seen one today from Rod Crow.
Indeed. Full back in the Division 1 SEN Team of the Year in 2011. Kick forward by Holmes. Measured the pass. Was a good one. And he's found a teammate there in Clayton.
The workhorse will be picked by myself this afternoon.
Well, then we already know who it is.
Shane Clayton, the captain of Norwood, on the boundary line.
Isn't that normally the job of the special comments man, Ben Moran-Smith?
No, well, Brad's got to choose one. You basically picked Scanlon last week, so it's my turn.
I wasn't on the media team last week.
Clayton's kick, he's turned it over. The mark's been held defensively there by McMahon. By Crow it was, in fact. Crow's long kick to the outer side. Came off hands. Under pressure, Carroll had his kick partly smothered. Well played by Kenner. To Hardiman. Gilchrist through the middle now for Balwyn. Gilchrist's kick was smothered. He's been under pressure a lot of times when he's got the footy today, Rennie Gilchrist. Ball shot out to Carroll. Zach Carroll usually has pretty good kicking skills. This one finishes up in the hands of Johnson. And David Johnson's kick finds Evan Johnson. And the mark's held there, but fair way out with a heavy ball. Wouldn't be able to see him kicking the goal from here. Frosty.
Some three-quarter time scores coming through in Division 1 at Scoresby by 8 points over Knox at three-quarter time. Also in Division 2, Donvale hold a slight lead of 7 points over Mooroolbark, and Montrose by 61 over Mulgrave.
Confident approach though from Evan Johnson. Lines up the goals. Drifts across the face of goal and just a minus score. Dyson Baker, score check for us, please.
Yeah, 8-11-59. Sorry, 8-6-54 Norwood. 8-10-58 Balwyn.
Division 3 scores at half-time. Baronia by 38 over Heathmont. Glen Waverley Hawks slightly over Ringwood. 20-point lead by Wantirna South over Churnside Park. North Ringwood by 44, and the Whitehorse Pioneers only trailing by 7 to Coldstream. As Balwyn surged the ball forward, mark taken by Jesse Newman across the half-back line. Switches it now to Nicholas Edge. Norwood looked to rebound. The kick up towards the middle of the ground. It was okay over the back. Christopher Nye, can he get there? No. O'Regan's there for Balwyn. Becomes a one-on-one battle, little handball. Still across that half-forward line for Norwood. Kick off the ground, possibly there by Clayton, if he can keep it in. It's been trapped, though. The umpire's going to come in and have a bounce. So we've gone 20 minutes here, almost time on in the third term. 4-point ball game, 58 plays 54. It's the home side in front. So the ball comes in. Balwyn will clear it. Murray is really the only option there, and he stands tall and delivers to Zala Murray. They weren't ready for that. Swings around on the left boot, put his teammate under a lot of pressure in the middle of the ground, and his captain too, Gilchrist, is going to get a 25-metre penalty, and it might bring him within range. Another stingy 25-metre penalty. They're thrown out by these small 50 arcs as Gilchrist goes wide, gets it to Hardeman. He's going to get run down straight off the bench. Beautiful tackle there by Marriott. It worked well. They went for the advantage. The umpire said no, bring it back. So Marriott's got it for Norwood across half-back. He's got short options in English. He might use him now. Well, they could have ruffled it, both English and Holmes. So Johnny Holmes. Another 25-metre penalty. So I'm
12.5 metre penalty, I think.
So I'm not sure what that was for, Peter Baird.
I think it was for back chat to the umpire.
So the ball goes deep inside 50 for Norwood at the fall. The ball, who can get it out? Nagel got a handball. Ball squeezed towards the boundary line and out of bounds. So we'll have a boundary throw in at 25 metres out from the Norwood goal line.
Great smother there from Sam Filippo, grabbing the ball off the boot of the Norwood player, saving a certain
of Nagel's boot. So the umpire brings it in. Front spot that time, Ben Turner. Overrunning the ball was McMahon. Still plenty of players in there. English traps it. Nearly a throw over the top. Gets it to Johnson. We'll have another boundary throw in 20 metres out from goal now. They're just pushing it a little bit further.
Just seeing Brent English in the play, then he's drifted out of it, hasn't he? He was so sort of dangerous early, but it's been fairly quiet since the first quarter.
Ball comes in, plenty of players form around the pack and they get it out. They can now. That was well done by Fraser. They've switched it to the far side of the ground now. This is
Kenner
on the left boot. It was a shocking kick too. Justin Gould comes across and takes the mark. And surge the ball inside 50 once again. It was not a high percentage kick, kicking it right near the boundary line, and it's gone over. If you know the cricket nets, that's where it is, out here at Balwyn Park. The Tigers by 4 points, 22 minutes gone in the third term as the umpire brings it in once again. Over the back Turner, it came down to McMahon, he spilt it, handball out. They're going to clear it again, other Tigers. It was an interesting looking handball. This time it's O'Regan. Gang tackle there, that was well done. It was a duo. So that was Nye and Nagel. Remember that name.
It was English, actually. Benny.
Instead of Nye, I agree. A handball over the top, inside 50 for Norwood now. Handball to Murray. Just looking for some running support. Gets it across. Hendry. Stopped, propped, put his teammate under a lot of pressure. Crunched in the middle of the ground. Handball out. Kick up towards the McMahon direction. He waited for it over the back of the pack. Charging at the ball was Matty Ava. Swings around on the left boot, looking for that man in English, and the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds.
I don't think I've seen so many players run down from behind as what I have in the last 5 minutes. There's probably been half a dozen situations where the bloke with the ball has had no awareness of the play coming from behind.
So boundary throw-in back into play. It's been a tightly contested third quarter, that's for sure. In the last few minutes, really, every score is at a premium at the moment. Well and truly hard-earned. Which team can break clear? We saw it early in the game. Norwood got that great start, but since then it's been a very even game of footy. Little handball was shovelled out to Nye.
Bang.
Clever kick. He's just off target. And a minor score there from Chris Nye, who's done some great work today. So Norwood They now move on to, by my score, 8 goals, 7.55. Is that correct, Dyson? And Balwyn are on 8 goals, 10.58.
Correct.
So it'll be Kenner. Bring the ball in, keeps it low. Crow. Takes the marker, it was Harris, goes short. Mark taken by Murray in the middle. Elects to go out wide. This time it's Crow. He handballs over to Milhusen. They're running up towards half forward now, are the Tigers. Kick into the middle. This guy's been pretty good this afternoon, Tom Marriott. I've been impressed with his game. Kicks it up towards half forward and you give a guy a rap and he lets you down. But he did get dumped after he kicked it, so it will go downfield. So a free kick to Norwood. Ball's on the half forward line. Gould is the recipient. Kicks it to the hot spot. At the fall, the ball that time was Tregear. Did okay for the Tigers. Kicks it back into the middle of the ground. Finds right. Swings around on that right boot. Gets it to Alan Murray, who's come into the game in this second half.
Yeah, much better third quarter from Alan Murray.
Yeah, McMahon out wide to the left. He went to the right instead. Hendry's got it now. How he gets so much space is just beyond me. Handball to Milhusen, who's been working well in this term. Gets it to Shepherd, swings around. He's got players at the top of the goal square. Who's going to get this one? McMahon's over the back of the pack. It might even be rushed through. The ball is still alive, but it's going to be a free kick to David Johnson for a push in the back or holding the man. And Johnson now will get a reprieve. Umpire tells him to move it along.
Oh, gee.
Great bit of shepherding work there.
Was.
By Jury, but the kick didn't go too far. It wasn't too handy. Mark taken about centre wing position. Short passes on. Harris can raffle it with Milhusen. Harris took it. Go inside on that left foot. He's just screaming for options. He ends up going backwards. Don't know how effective that was.
The flood is on, Benny. Big time.
And they're going to create
Huge
the
flood.
switch, and then work the corridor well. Kick up towards the half forward line, charging through. McCutcheon got one bite. Shepherd's at the fall of the ball. Who else is in there too? McCutcheon gets another go at it. He might even keep it in. He does. They'll have a ball up 50 metres out from goal. Balwyn end. They still lead by 3 points. Very close game out here in the EFL match of the day out at Balwyn Park. Umpire bounces it. We'll give that one to Turner Dice. About 15 players around this ball. Who's going to get it out? Shepherd on hands and knees, dishes it out. That was good. McMahon backwards still. They kick it inside 50. They've got a player in McCutcheon all by himself. One bite over the line. Another boundary throw in.
Well, he hasn't really had a sniff of it, Frosty, since he got talked up at half-time.
No.
Edward McCutcheon.
Still providing a target for them, though. They are honouring him, but he just can't seem to grab his hands on that ball.
Oh, there's a terrible bit of play there by DeClure. He was a bit unlucky, really. The paid throw against. And the captain of the Balwyn Football Club, Rennie Gilchrist, will have a shot from about 45 metres out and give their side an 8-point buffer.
I've been really impressed with his game today, BWS. He's been in and under. He's got it out of the stoppages. He's had plenty of run for them. I've really liked the game of football he's played.
Second free kick for the quarter for Balwyn, thanks to Chewstap.
So Gilchrist has kicked one for the afternoon. This will make it 2, and this will be a beautiful captain's goal. Gilchrist puts it straight through the middle, out the home side end as well. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, Balwyn moved to 9 goals, 10, 64. Norwood at 8 goals, 7, 55.
Yeah, an important goal in the context of the game there. Norwood closed the gap to less than a goal in the clutches of three-quarter time, but Balwyn have got one back, put the margin back out to 9 points.
Second goal for Rennie Gilchrist. He'd just about be the leading possession getter on the ground, you would think. He's racked them up today. Dying stages of this third quarter. Expect that siren to sound sometime fairly soon, as we'll have another ball up in the middle. It is 9 goals, 10, I should say, for Balwyn. 9-10, 64. Norwood are 8 goals, 7, 55. 9-point lead for the Tigers. Johnson, it's David Johnson this time. Kicks it into the path of McCormack. Wants to wheel onto that left foot, but that's what he does. Big up and under kick by McCormack. deep into the Norwood forward line. Off hands English from a tight spot across the face of goal. The mark's been held there by Nye. Runs around Chris Nye and kicks a great opportunist goal. Really summed up the situation well then. Chris Nye took the mark just inside the field of play, and as players went past him, he kept his head and showed plenty of poise to kick a great goal.
You're 100% right there, Brad. When the Balwyn players went to sleep there, Nye jumped on the opportunities, run around, put it on his right foot, closes the gap back. Norwood answer that Balwyn goal straight away. Margins back to less than a goal.
Back to 3 points.
9 goals, 10-64 Balwyn. Norwood 9-7-61. 30 minutes gone in this second term. Ball back in the middle. Neither side will be wanting to give an inch in this last few seconds. Wynn got a beautiful knockdown. Gained a valuable 10 metres or so. There's the siren as the Norsemen were running forward. 3/4 time out of Balwyn reserve, and it's a 3-point ball game in match of the day, Division 1, round 3. 9 goals, 10-64 is the Balwyn Football Club. Trailing by 3 points is Norwood on 9-7-61. That's the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We'll be back after the break with everything else around the grounds as you go local for your football. Around the ground scores with Ben Waterworth right here on EFL Game Day.
In footy, the best players always get tagged. In Melbourne, the best and cheapest way to get around the tollways is to get your car tagged. That's because a Breeze account works on Eastlink and it works on CityLink too. A tag's also the cheapest way to use Eastlink and CityLink. So open your Breeze account online at eastlink.com.au and start winning as a tagger today. Speaking of winning, my team's a sure thing for 4 points today and maybe the premiership. Come on up, that was in the back. Eastlink, it's time better spent, like at the footy. Program sponsor.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Gully Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Gully, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Gully Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
Radio Eastern 98.1, and a couple of scores here from the AFL, and this is at the 6-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Geelong and Melbourne. Geelong 18-13, 121 leading Melbourne 11-6-32. And at the 3-minute mark, or 21-minute mark in the third quarter, Essendon-Brisbane. Essendon 16-10, 106 lead Brisbane 8-4-52. Radio Eastern 98.1.
In desperate need of some windows but your budget's too tight? Never fear, because the team at T&B Window Warehouse has the right solution for you. We have surplus windows to suit the needs of any budget. We're located at 120 to 124 Bayfield Road East, Bayswater North. Give us a call, 8727-7506. That's 8727-7506. T&B Window Warehouse. Don't forget the name, part of the EAL and AW Transport Group. Number 1 in window transport. Program sponsor.
At Hogsbread Cafe, we're serving Aussie-style great food and a feel-good attitude. Now we're going the whole hog with pasta, more seafood, chicken, rib dishes and fresh salads. And always our famous 18-hour slow-cooked prime rib steak. What are you waiting for? Come in for lunch or dinner and experience the value that is Hogsbread Cafe.
Chadstone, Dandenong, Coringal, Knox Ozone and Water Gardens. Come in and experience some hospitality.
Now hospitality is all about you. We do great steak.
Program sponsor.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Fantastic game of footy out here at Balwyn SEN Park. It's 4 points the margin. 9-10-72 to 9-7-61. Thanks, Brad. Gee, that's some very nice handwriting from Brad Henderson. Almost sort of 18-year-old female style. Let's go through the scores around the grounds here, around all Eastern Football League grounds. South Croydon 10-7-67 to Lilydale 6-10-36. It's a bit of a slog out at Knox today. Knox 2-5-17 to Scoresby 3-7-25. But here's a big story for you. East Burwood 13-10-88 to Vermont 6-5-41. That could be the 44th victory for East Burwood over Vermont in the history. Probably the biggest story, East Ringwood 8-10-58 leading Noble Park 4-15-38. 20 points is the margin there. In Division 2, Bayswater have been able to kick out their 12-12-84 to Doncaster East 10-7-67. Donvale with a good third term. They're 8-3-51 to Mooroolbark 5-14-44. Montrose running away with their game against Mulgrave. The D's 11-16-82 to Mulgrave 3-3-21. Roeville doing it easy against Doncaster 9-16-70 to Doncaster 6-4-40. And Upper Ferntree Gully also doing it easy 11-14-80 to Waverley Blue 6-5-41. In Division 3, speaking of easy, Baronia 7-13-55 leading Heathmont. Listen to this score, 1-1-7 at three-quarter time. I tell you what, though, in Division 3, Warrandyte, they're coming. Will Taylor smells an upset out there at Warrandyte Reserve. Templestowe 11-5-71. Warrandyte 10-7-67. Only 4 points the margin there. Ringwood 8-12-60 leading the Glen Waverley Hawks 7-5-47. 13 points the margin there. Wanturna South 9-9-63 leading Churnside Park 6-7-43. And the Whitehorse Pioneers and Coldstream are dead even at three-quarter time. Whitehorse Pioneers 7-4-46 to Coldstream 6-10-46. Can the Pioneers get victory number one? Speaking of victory number one for quite some time, Surrey Park within 18 points of Park Orchards at three-quarter time. Park Orchards 4-9-33 to Surrey Park 2-3-15. Doesn't sound like a very appetising game on the scoreboard though, but come on Surrey Park. Forest Hill trailing Sylvan. Sylvan 7-9-51 to Forest Hill 5-14-44. The Basin 15-16-106 to the Eastern Lions 4-5-29. Nunawading trailing South Belgrave 7-7-49 to South Belgrave 15-3-93. And Blackburn just getting a Division 1 score through now. They had a great third term. Blackburn 14-9-93 to Croydon 6-6-42. Dyson Baker with some of the stats that matter thanks to Choose Tap. Be smart, choose tap water.
Look, interesting quarter in that third term. 3-3 to 1-4 in favour of Norwood. We'll go through the stats that matter. Inside 50, 16 to Norwood, 9 to the Tigers of Balwyn. Interesting to note, 4 marks inside 50 to 1 in favour of Norwood as well. Centre clearances 2 apiece, reasonably even. Tackle count 18-14 in favour of Norwood for 46-43 in favour of Norwood. Hit out still dominated by Norwood, 19-11 for 49-28 in favour of Norwood. But the Tigers still dominating clearances, 36-31 so far in the game. And the marks, 26 to Balwyn and 13 to Norwood for a total of 75-62 for the match.
Thank you very much to Dyson Baker. Thanks to, I was going to say Kira Urgent Care. It's Choose Tap Match Stats.
Certainly Yarra Valley Water.
It's delicious, isn't it?
It certainly is. Make sure when you're looking for a drink to fill up your water bottle, choose Tap when you're being smart and drinking water.
Let's cross down boundary side to our Kira Urgent Care boundary riders. We could basically hear Daniel Donati up here on the balcony. Braden, what happened at the Balwyn huddle?
Yeah, he was certainly up and about. Disappointed there, so it was really frustrating quarter of footy there by his men. Was disappointed by the fact that when they got inside their attacking 40-metre arc, they passed off instead of going back for the set shot. Really wants them to have faith and go back and take that shot. Also really upset that they got beaten 5-0 in the centre clearances. Didn't get a centre clearances that quarter, and in terms of the match, they've been much better than that, so he wants them to lift.
Well, thanks very much as the last quarter gets underway. And
let's go to Corey, who was over at the Norwood huddle at three-quarter time, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Yeah, Kevin Topoli was pretty quiet. He said there's 2 really, really good teams out on the field today, and even if they come away with a loss, they can still be very happy with what happened. I said that they need to win on tackles, the rebounds are really good and you need to keep that up, and that they also need to win on stoppages.
Thank you very much to Corey and Braden down there. I can't really imagine Kevin Tiboldi being happy with the loss this afternoon, Peter Baird.
No, it's strange. A strange cat at the best of times, Kevin. I don't know whether he's putting a bit of reverse psychology in their heads, making them think about losing the game to try and get them up to win.
Strong tackle applied in the middle there. Nye involved once again. He's had a great game today.
Yes.
Kenner, who's also been very good for Balwyn. Look at the speed of Stevie Kenner. He's running on top of the ground when everyone else is feeling the fatigue. High kick there by Hendry. Hendry's kick. Has it snuck through for a behind. Still in play, in fact. Barker. Did he get boot to ball? Couldn't quite do so. Off hands. Armstrong, I think he's kicked his second goal of the game. Yes, he has. And Balwyn get the best possible start to this final quarter. Pat Armstrong has kicked the goal. And Balwyn now lead 10 goals, 10-70 to Norwood, 9 goals, 7-61.
Fantastic second effort then by Armstrong, because not only did he butter up and kick the goal, but his first effort there was when the ball was right on the goal line, he was able to get the boot onto it and put it back to the top of the square into a really dangerous spot, which forced the contest and forced the ball to spill out to him again. So fantastic bit of play there by Armstrong, a great double effort.
Great play by Stevie Kenner to start the get the ball rolling.
How quick was he?
Yeah, fantastic.
Norwood backs were pretty adamant the ball had crossed the behind line.
Looked like it.
It certainly did. Ball back in the middle. McMahon hits the deck. Quick kick by Harris. That was partly smothered. Still in that mud patch in the middle of the ground. It's going to be a free kick to Balwyn. It's going to go to the captain in Gilchrist. Waste no time. The ball looks very heavy as he goes up towards the Murray direction. He was in the front spot. Charging through from the side was McMahon. Can he pick it up and bang it on his boot? No, he can't. The boundary line beats them all.
You're right, Ben Warren Smith. It does look like an old ball out there. I think they were going to use a new ball for the start of each quarter in the Eastern Football League.
They did actually. They have changed it already. It's just in the first couple of minutes or so, it's been clogged in that mud.
It certainly has. That's primarily where the ball has been for the first few minutes. So the ball up towards the centre wing position. Front spot then was Johnson for Norwood. Couldn't get it. Quick kick out. Since the boundary line's going to be the winner here, it is. Second touch to Corey Hall on the boundary for the afternoon.
And a third.
He's gone for the three-peat. Hands it back to the umpire. So Norwood think that they really need to get the next goal. Hasn't been a big margin all afternoon. Gilchrist looking for the handball. They went wider. Kick inside 50 or thereabouts by Harris. Goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. I really want to know what you're killing yourself laughing about,
sorry.
Brad.
No, it's private joke.
Well, we're all a family here at Radio Eastern, and if something's funny, we want to hear it. The ball kicks up towards Stuart Hill on the wing position. He rode it well. Took a good mark. He's got 9 in the middle, screaming for it. So Hill. Sloppy kick. Holmes gave a little nudge out. The umpire saw it. So free kick to Balwyn. Jared Churgwin. Just pops it up in no man's land. It's a bit of a silly kick in the end. The umpire's going to either pay a mark or a free kick. So kicking to the middle of the ground, another risky one, but they've got the numbers over the back of the pack, but a classy mark's been taken in the middle by Hardiman. Waste no time, kicks it inside 50. Ball fisted over the back of the pack. They've got time now. Paddling it towards the boundary line is DeClerc. Had support. Snap over by Edge. Well, that was okay because McCormack got in the front spot, took a mark. They started forward, been working towards the back half in this second half. Short pass to Win. Filthiest man on the ground since minute 2. Win goes short. Good mark taken by the captain, Clayton. Takes off now. Kicks up towards half forward. He had Ava leading for it, but the kick was skew-if, and Tregear takes the mark, handball off. Gives it to Harris. He's got a bit of it in this last turn, but he's met. Here come the Norsemen. Left foot kick inside 50. Oh, it probably could have taken a little bit more time. So a little bit rush play there by Norwood, but the ball's deep in their forward pocket. Handy spot for it to be. They currently trail by 9 points.
How important will the belief Norwood have getting up in a close game against Noble last week, counting the last few minutes of this game?
Certainly will, Pete, as the umpire brings it in. Who can get boot to ball? Holmes is in there. San Filippo got the handball out.
Oh,
Jared Wright's in there too. And of course, Captain Courageous is the last man to get up. So right in front of us here in the broadcast position.
Just how we like it.
Absolutely. Good palm down there by Johnson. There's plenty of players around this ball. If they can get it out, Norwood, they just can't. Another ball up, another stoppage. Dyson Baker, the number of stoppages.
Yeah, so far in this quarter, 6 stoppages, 4-2 in favour of Norwood.
So McCormack and Turner. A couple of times in the last minute they've gone up against each other. Handball by... that was the throw by Holmes. He gave it to McCormack, who banged it on his left boot. hit the woodwork, and just 1 point is the result. 9-8-62, Norwood trailing by 8 points. Balwyn a 10-10-70 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Just flopped it out there, Holmes, and unable to finish it off, though.
Kicking by Kenner.
Nice choice of words there, Pete.
Gave it to McMahon, to Crow. Crow's kick was touched off the boot. That's what I thought it was touched off the boot.
On the
Obviously
full.
not, because it's been given out of bounds on the full. So free kick. Marskant gave it off to Blackie. Hike. Oh, this is Blackie now. No, he had his pocket picked there by Carroll. Zach Carroll's pass for Clayton, who makes plenty of space on a long lead. Shane Clayton just inside the field of play. Just forward of the wing. Clayton's kick.
Oh,
That's a mark, isn't it? Gee.
Hit the deck.
Well, he almost dragged it in there, David Johnson.
Boot in the back.
He thrust that foot out into the back and almost reeled in the mark. It was a good effort. McCormack palmed it down, but straight into the hands of McMahon. Clayton under pressure to Johnson.
Good kick.
Round the corner, McCormack interfered in the back of Churgwin. Advantage is paid. San Filippo. His kick was into the path of Hughesman, but it was intercepted. Chance here for Norwood. Kick onto the line, and it was by Wynn. Was chopped off by Wright. Little handball by Harris. Rushed further afield by Fraser. Got it onto Tregear. Tregear's kick, hugging the boundary. Looking for his teammate there in McCutcheon. Edge for Norwood. Steadies. Looks for Holmes. And it was a careful kick by Edge, looking for John Holmes there, hard up against the boundary line.
Couldn't rise to the occasion.
Boundary throw in. Back into play. Gilchrist. Strongly tackled. Great tackle there by Nye. And not appreciating the treatment he's copping there, Rennie Gilchrist. He does cop a bit of a pounding from the opposition.
Was that Holmes giving him a pounding?
Final score, let's leave the comedy for after the show today. Final score out at the Scoresby Knox game, and it's the home side, the Magpies, that get up by 17 points.
A lot of players around the footy. Huge pack of players. English getting involved this time.
Tackle count 11-6 in favour of the Norsemen in this last term, thanks to Choose Tap.
Umpire throws it up close to the boundary. Blackie can't quite keep it in. Got it to Edge. English it was, sorry, English. It's given away a free kick for a push in the back. And Ben Harris there wanted a 25-metre penalty. Tried to con the umpire. Umpire wasn't falling for it. So Ben Harris is a left footer with that arm guard. Kicks it forward. Came off hands to Marco Regan. Out of defence. Nicely played by Carroll. The kick into the path of Declare. And Declare leading Hendry there to the boundary.
Game over between Surrey Park and Park Orchards, and it's Park Orchards by 21 points, 42-21.
Well, goals hard to come by in that game for sure. Boundary throw in, Hardiman. It was Hardiman, in fact. He's kicked to the top of the square, bounces through for a minor score. And Balwyn add one more to their total. Dyson might just get a quick score check from you.
Yeah, look, Balwyn move on to 10-11-71 to Norwood 9-8-62.
Thank you.
Thanks to the Bendigo Bank, of course.
Good bank. A Jury, short option. Gets to his captain Clayton. Will give over the top. Need to make something of this, you'd think. McCormack makes space on the centre wing position. Little handball. English is in there by himself over the back of the pack. He's Nagel, and he takes the mark. So a good bit of play there by Nagel. He wants to get on with it, though. He's got players running forward, and that's a good bit of play too.
Some loose checking there from Balwyn. He always wanted to hand that off, did Nagel.
And Dave Johnson takes a mark only 20 metres out, very slight angle. You'd expect him to kick this and then once again make it only a 3-point ball game.
This is an important kick in the context of the game. It needs to close the margin to under the goal, Norwood to have any sniff in this game. Score's really hard to come by in this last quarter.
So Nicholas Nagel has already kicked one for the afternoon. Johnson comes in and bangs it straight on his boot over the goal umpire's head. And bang it goes. That's his first for the afternoon. And Norwood, they reduce that margin to that very 3 points. It's game on here out in the match of the day, Balwyn versus Norwood.
We always get a good game on the EFL Game Day broadcast here, Ben Warren Smith. Fantastic kick there, real pressure kick there from Davey Johnson. Needed to go back, steady, put that one through. Nagel dished off, didn't want to have the shot himself, but he had two options there. He had Johnson running forward.
It was poor checking by the Balwyn backs.
It was very loose, and Daniel Donati will not be happy with that. We saw how animated he was at three-quarter time.
So back to that 3-point margin, which it's been on so many occasions in this second half. And you just get the feeling David Johnson, he's just a smart player. Like he knows the right spots to run to. We've seen it in defence throughout today when he's played as a loose man and then finding a bit of space then. It was loose checking from Balwyn, but at the same time, David Johnson was alert to the fact that Nagel probably wasn't that confident to go back and kick the goal. So the umpire to throw it up in the middle. 3 points, the deficit. Players covered in mud. Umpire throws it up. Wynn contesting in the ruck against Turner. It's been a good battle between those two. Free kick has gone the way of Balwyn, and it will go to Charlie Hendry.
6-1 in this final term, thanks to Choose Tap.
What a great game he's played today as well, Ben Warren Smith.
Certainly has, Peter Baird. He's putting his claim for the Narellan Pools player of the day, no doubt, Charlie Hendry, Brad.
Yeah, disappointing kick this time. He went across the ground and he's turned it over. Norwood will repel. Nagel the target. Nice fist from behind by Milhusen. And Rod Crow there, content to see the ball over the boundary line. So Charlie Hendry certainly amongst Balwyn's best today, along with Rennie Gilchrist.
Yes.
And they'd probably be the main two contenders you'd think for the Tigers. Gilchrist now tries to keep his feet, couldn't do so. Churgwin out of defence, bit of a floater. And he'll find the boundary line nicely. There's that sloping ground towards the boundary. Always comes into play. And Jared Churgwin pretty happy with that result. Back into play, Win against Turner. Palm down, Tregear takes possession now. Free kick for a push in the back.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
And did seem pretty soft. I think it's gone there to it's Gilchrist again. So another possession for the Balwyn captain. Not his best kick. Nice mark by Jonathan Wynn. Just floating back to take the mark. The big ruckman for Norwood. Wynn hugs the boundary with the kick. Gee, set his teammate Johnson there a hard task. Ball came off hands.
Forward.
Is it play on? The umpire says yes, keep going. And some players stopped there. They thought the ball was out of bounds, but certainly Norwood were alert to the fact. They kept surging forward. 3 points to margin. Smell of the bit of mud just wafting up to our broadcast position. Back into play. Gilchrist. Little handball was nicely chopped off there by English. High kick by English to full forward. McCormack off the ground. Little kick there by Nagel. And he's missed. So
Nearly made it 2 goals from 2 kicks today, Nagel.
He threw the hands to the head there, Nick Nagel. We know he's had, it would have been at least his third kick. Because he set up that last goal as well.
Peter Baird enjoying his last day with the EFL Media Team today out of Balwyn. Nice place to be on the balcony. There's Balwyn. Reload again through Churgwin. Ball comes down. Paddling along McMahon. Runs it over the boundary line and out of bounds. So too does Jury. Final scores around as you go local for your footy this afternoon. Scoresby 17-point winners over the Knox Footy Club. And as I mentioned already, Surrey Park lost to Park Orchards by 21. Ball back in. Murray just takes it out of the ruck and then bangs it on the boot up towards the McCutcheon area. He was at the back spot. The umpire's plucked out a free kick. It's going to go to Norwood and it's going to go in the way of DeClerc. He's got players out wide. Finds Johnson. Evan Johnson now stops, props and then pops it off. That was okay. Stewie Hill's running onto it. Probably could have gone on with it. He's got Holmes across half forward. He's taking his time. He wants players to present. He's got Ford screaming for it in the middle of the ground. Wants the longer option. It was a good one too. Kicks it up towards McCormick. Takes the mark.
Holmes.
Holmes it is, and McCormick's in the next spot where the kick's going to be kicked up towards English. He's standing strong. Can he get the front spot over the back of the pack? Nice play by Crow. Gets it to Murray. They're going to clear it now, the Tigers. Good kick by Murray. Centimetre perfect it was. He finds his teammate out there in Kenner.
Just the eighth mark in the final term for Balwyn, thanks to Choose Tap. Norwood have 20.
Kenner goes short to right. Just working themselves out at the moment. It's Balwyn. It's the captain, Gilchrist. Short kick to Crow. They're just trying to create that loose player, Balwyn. Kick to kick, Milhusen. Still got it in the defensive arc for Balwyn. Kicks it up towards the wing position. Over the back of the pack. Who's got the foot race? It's Nye, first to meet it. It's a handball off to Johnson. Balked one, then handballed it over the top. That was okay. Hill got the running handball, and Johnson's got it again on the wing position. Here comes Jakey Ford. He's been quiet this afternoon, but he charges up towards half forward and finds a spot man in Ava. Dropped what he maybe could have taken. Needed to not stand so flat-footed. Matty McCormack paddling the ball in front of him, 40 metres out from goal. Can he just manage to trap it?
Well
he
done.
does so now, McCormack. No one told him he had someone on his hammer. Banged it on the boot and goes through for a minor score. So Norwood edge a little bit closer. It's only a 2-point ball game. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, Norwood are 10 goals, 9-69. Balwyn a 10-11, 71. Rural Bark won today against Domvale. They'll come from behind victory, 71-62. Well done to the Mustangs. Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Braden Ingram.
Yeah, boys, we've got a Balwyn player down on the middle of the ground, on the opposite side of the ground. He's up now. The Balwyn trainers are assisting him off the ground, but it could be a big loss if he can't get back. If he has to be taken off late in this final term.
Keep an eye on that one, Braden, as the ball's back in the middle. It comes down to McMahon. Can he bang it on his boot? He does so now. Kicks it inside 50, running after it is Clayton. He just works the ball towards his advantage. Manages to pick it up now. Short passes on. That's okay. Johnson, he's been good. Switches it. They're trying to move the ball quickly. The Norsemen now gets it onto Declare. He's got players even further out wide if he wants. Blackie, no, he elects to go back into the middle. That was risky. But he finds his teammate. Ford. Short pass. It was scrappy. Handball over the top to Clare. Traps it now. Bangs his ball on the boot. Only as far as Murray, though. Murray got the handball to Kenner. Back to Murray on the left boot. He's got silky skills, and he spotted up McMahon at half forward. That was clever on the left boot.
Score update thanks to the Bendigo Bank. It's 10-11, 71 to 10-10, 70. 1 point lead in favour of Balwyn.
Thank you, Dyson. So he fancies himself, Ryan McMahon. Yet to kick a goal this afternoon, but this will be oh so handy with the faithful right behind him as he comes to 50, puts it on his boot. This is a beautiful kick. What a team-lifting goal there by Ryan McMahon. His first for the afternoon. Balwyn get their 11th, and they stretch the lead to 7 points on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 11-11, 77. Norwood 10-10, 70.
Yeah, great call there, Ben Warren Smith. Went back, took his time with that McMahon, and as Daniel Donati wanted, he took the set shot from around that 40-metre mark. He said that to the boys at three-quarter time. We heard that from Braden. Don't just bomb it to the top of the goal square. When you get inside range, go back and have your kick, and that's exactly what McMahon did then.
And boys, Rennie Gilchrist was the man who got clean up on the other side of the ground. He's had to come off after trying to get back into play, couldn't. And we've also got Pat Armstrong for Balwyn off the ground with the blood rule.
Thank you very much to Braden Ingram down boundary side. It's all happening on the Balwyn bench this afternoon.
That could be a huge loss in the context of this game. 5 minutes to go if they lose Rennie Gilchrist now, Ben.
Absolutely.
Balwyn 11-11, 77. Norwood a 10-10, 70 as Hendry gets the ball forward for Balwyn. I think there's probably still a bit more time left than that as the boundary line was close by. Okay, Frosty's got it 100% right. So boundary throw in. Win to compete here against Barker. Knocking the ball down. Out of defence, Clayton had his kick partly smothered. And over the boundary line once more.
So I think we missed that cross down to Braden earlier. So that was Rennie Gilchrist, Peter Baird, that went off in that incident, and also a blood rule as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. Rennie Gilchrist went down on the other side of the ground. He's come off injured there. That's why I was saying it could be a huge loss. Context of the game, just 5 minutes to go. They need that drive from Rennie Gilchrist, probably one of the best players on the ground today.
He said Armstrong was the player who came off under the blood rule as well. Is it free kick? No, it's going to be a ball up. No free kick paid.
Big result in Division 3 this afternoon. The Whitehorse Pioneers have got their first win on the board for season 2012. 10-7-67 defeated Coldstream 8-10-58. Oh, that is magnificent, Peter Baird.
It certainly is. But aren't Coldstream one of those teams that run hot and cold each week?
They are indeed inconsistent, to say the least. Great result for Whitehorse. Ball thrown back in. There's a free kick. It will go the way of Norwood.
Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Brayden Ingram.
Yeah, boys. Rennie Gilchrist just come back on the ground. So despite looking a bit sore, it looks like he'll be right to finish the game.
Good news there for Balwyn as Kenner takes possession. Kick around the corner into the arms of Hendry, I should say. Charlie Hendry weighs up his options. Wants someone to kick to. Really sinks the slipper into the ball, but wasn't his best kick. Was chopped off there by Hill. Hill's kick over the top. Balwyn win the footy back. Harris. Neat pass. It's getting very dark here at SEN Park as Hardiman takes the mark. He's already kicked, he's kicked one today. High kick by Hardiman. Drifts across the face of goal. Massive pack camped under it. Murray. It's just showing little glimpses of what he's capable of today, Alan Murray. Little handball to Kenner. Kenner's kick around the corner. Great captain's goal by Stevie Kenner. And that's just about the sealer, you would think, for Balwyn as they go out to a 16-point lead.
Really took the game on then, Stevie Kenner. Grabbed the ball outside the contest from about 40 out. Ran past 2 or 3 Norwood defenders. Slammed the ball onto the boot. That's a little bit of breathing space for Norwood. For Balwyn as they stretch that lead out to 13 points.
What's the score on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, Dyson Baker?
Yeah, boys. 3 goals, 1 to 3 behinds in this last term makes it Balwyn 12-11-83 to Norwood 10-10-70 thanks to the Bendigo Bank.
So it is only a 13-point margin. Makes it very difficult when we don't have a scoreboard. Teams are scoring quickly, but it's not. Should be giving the right score. We've mucked it up.
Sorry about that.
No, we've mucked it up all day. It's not just blaming you, mate. Ball back in the middle. I think the game's still alive as the ball comes up towards half-forward line. Ava went in hard. Murray, he really has been lively in the second half. Jared Wright, snap around the body. Clayton did a double-fisted towards the boundary line and the safety of it. Who's coming out to get the ball now? Runs over the boundary line. They'll get a lot of support down there. The Balwyn faithful right near that side bar.
Just 3.5 minutes to go. Ben Warren-Smith, Norwood need to get a clearance from this stoppage.
So the ball comes back in. Handball over the top. It's all about just getting the ball and banging it on your boot. And Norwood, they look to do it now. Kick inside 50 and towards the English and McCormick direction. That was good play that time by Crow to get the fist on it. Got it to Kenner in the middle of the ground. A cute little toe poke to Murray. Goes for the old 1-2 because Kenner comes back in. And another perfect pass up towards half forward. And the ball lands in the arms of Gilchrist now. Straight on the ground. A scrappy little kick. It'll be to Clare. It's been okay as well for Norwood this afternoon in the back line. Kick up towards, well, sort of the wing position, I guess, where the ball's gone over the boundary line and out of bounds.
He's done a good job, Declare, on most of the day he's been on Alan Murray, so he certainly held, he can hold his head high for Norwood.
Time ticking away for Norwood if they want to still remain in this game as the kick goes up towards David Johnson. Couldn't trap it. The umpire's actually paid it. Good effort by him to get down so low. Kick up towards McCormick. Didn't have to worry about it.
This player's been very good today. Marriott as well, Ben Warren-Smith.
Very happy with Marriott's game, Peter Baird. Takes off now, and we've mozzed another one. You wouldn't believe it. Milhusen takes it from the smother. Kick up towards Churgwin, takes the mark. Just slowing it down, wanting options to come on. Milhusen running on with it. He's still going, Milhusen, if he can get into that forward pocket and they can find him. But Barker, he wants to put the sealer on right in front of the boys there on the bench.
Well, he can kick it. Distance, he can definitely make the distance.
Already kicked 3 this afternoon. So The ball's in the hands of the man you'd want it in. Barker comes in. Look at that, straight off the boot, and he tells them all about it. The Norwood bench right behind him. You would say that is shut the gate now as Balwyn move on to 13 goals, 11, 89. It's a 19-point ball game. Norwood 10-70 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. There's only a couple of minutes left, Pete.
I can't believe what a good kick for goal Lukey Barker is. He was deep right out on the boundary, 45 out there with a heavy ball late in this quarter. He's just taken his time and laconically just gone back and put it straight through the middle. Fantastic kick for goal there from Lukey Barker.
Wouldn't mind having him having a shot after the siren in a grand final to put you in front, would you? He's a wonderful kick, Luke Barker. 4 long goals today from him, and he hasn't looked like missing. As Balwyn finishing this game full of running. How good has Stevie Kenner been in this last term? San Filippo's kick was smothered. McMahon dives over the footy. And we'll have a ball up. Dying stages here very late in this game. In fact, may well be into the last minute of the last quarter. Fairly short last quarter. Umpire throws it up. A lot of players around the footy. They've been gallant today, Norwood, no doubt. It's been a commendable effort from them, but Balwyn, after a sluggish start to this game, have been the better side for the remainder of the day. A lot of players still camped over the footy. Just get a score check, Dyson, as we're...
I've got it, 13-11, 89 to 10-10, 70, a 19-point ball game. Make sure you listen post-match between 5 and 6 with Peter MacArthur and Daniel Sensick in the studio, bringing you all the scores before, of course, the EFL Saturday scoreboard with Ben Waterworth at 10 to 6. Will definitely be on this week.
Thanks to the Bendigo Bank.
19-point lead then for Balwyn.
You should be in marketing, Dyson.
And Rennie Gilchrist has the ball, goes very short and finds a teammate all on his own. Looks like Ben Harris. No, in fact, it's McMahon. So Ryan McMahon, or McMahon.
There it is.
Will have a shot. He's kicked 1 goal today, and he has a chance for his second after the final siren. Chance to make the final margin 25 points. Ryan McMahon walks in, confident looking kick, right to the line. Has it been marked on the line or inside?
It's a goal. No?
No
the goal umpire went to do the signal then.
A lot of...
loves the theatre.
Yeah, a lot of theatre there from the goal umpire, but it was no score, and so the final margin is 19 points. Balwyn, 13 goals, 11, 89 to Norwood, 10 goals, 10, 70, thanks to Bendigo Bank.
What a game it was, Dyson Baker. Have you managed to put together all of the stats that matter thanks to Choose Tap this afternoon?
Yeah, look, as we worked through a reasonably even contest from both sides, worked through the scores, it was good quarters from both sides, and we managed to work our way through. And I'll cross back to you guys just to get the interview.
Let's cross down boundary side with Braden Ingram, who's got the victorious coach Daniel Donati with him. What a great win it was by Balwyn today.
Yeah, boys, Balwyn have started pretty well, 2-1. Daniel, got to be happy with that. The boys did really well in the final term.
Yeah, no, look, it was a good win. We were 5 goals to zip down at the start, so we had to work our way into it. But tough conditions, really hard. They worked hard all day. And Norwood's credit, they set up really well, and they're a good side. And I've got no doubt they'll be pressing to play finals footy too this year.
Yeah, and your captain, Rennie Gilchrist, he was just superb today, especially in the last quarter.